WPGF-LP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time with Wolo and Stacks. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stotts Norsworthy.
Welcome in the day before the championship. But wait!
I hear the train a-comin', it's rolling around the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck.
That train, ladies and gentlemen, that train is the Lane train. There's been an airplane. We're using planes and trains today. That airplane went from Boca to Memphis today. There was a meeting between the brain trust of the Ole Miss Rebels and the man who's been at Florida Atlantic. And apparently an offer is on the table. And so it's in Lane Kiffin's corner right now. Will he be the guy or will he not? I'd say Arkansas is off. I would say that's Ole Miss's man, depending on the final decree from Lane Kiffin. Good afternoon, Mr. Brett Norsworthy.
Good afternoon. And you played a Dice, Arkansas native song. Boy, Johnny Cash, Jack LaLanne, and Gary Player did wonders for wearing all black.
They did. Yeah, you noticed me?
Looking pretty good, Dave.
If you look at us on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube,
I thought you were
and Twitter,
Jack LaLanne.
You would know.
Knock out some setups.
It's been a long time since Jack LaLanne.
How many push-ups you think you could do in a row?
Oh, my gosh. Right now, if you asked me and I had to, we could make a bet and I could do 25, 30. But how would I feel tomorrow morning? I would not be able to move my arms. Would you make the game? I would not be able to move my arms.
I don't know that I could do. I don't know I could do 5. Jack LaLanne could, and Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin.
Sounds like he's going to Ole Miss.
I'm surprised. I would really like to get what people think about that.
I thought the 4-year state of Mississippi law would hurt them bidding against Arkansas. Because I thought Arkansas could really decorate that tree out there 7 or 8. Now, you almost know it was going to be 4 and we roll you over immediately, but legally, technically, after that first year, you just got 3.
That's right.
Legally, technically, if you sign 7 after that first year, you got 6 left.
I think you're going to have fun with that. If he doesn't, indeed,
I'm very excited.
Come. My question, and I'd like to hear from callers in this first segment.
Might be Hugh Freeze without the drama.
We're pretty busy. Yeah,
Lane Kiffin without the drama.
Yeah, I think proven even more. To a certain degree, because he's done it at different levels. He failed in one.
Coach Freeze did it at a lot of levels.
He failed in one level.
High school Lambeth.
He did.
He did.
He did.
I'm going to defend Hugh Freeze, and I'm sure going to defend him in preparation. I'm going to defend him as a football coach, and he's also my friend. But I'm going to defend him game plan ready Freddy on game day.
I like Hugh Freeze.
His in-game adjustments, I do think he's got to work on at Liberty and going forward, and he's going to be back in SEC sooner than later. There are many at Arkansas that are open to him
right now. Well, that might happen.
I don't know or not if Greg Sankey has a moratorium on hiring him in SEC. I don't know whether it is or isn't, but a lot of that's out there that you can't get past Sankey on hiring him. But Lane Kiffin, I thought what Lane Kiffin did at Alabama, now he had a galaxy of stars to do this with, and he's not going to have that at Ole Miss, and he wouldn't have it at Arkansas. But how he made Blake Sims and Jake Coker as quarterbacks. Now, you got Ridley and Cooper and those cats to fog it around to, and you got Derrick Henry and Bo Scarborough behind you. You got plenty of firepower in those offensive lines, but he made Blake Sims, who had been a defensive back and a running back and a wing back, and Jake Coker, who was very limited skill set wise, he made them into great players at Bama.
I'm going to tell you that the thing about Sankey is interesting to me because I don't necessarily buy that stuff. I think a commissioner's job, and don't forget, the commissioner works for the presidents of the universities. The commissioner's job is to make sure you are in compliance and everything is fair and equitable. That's what a commissioner's job is. And if I were a president and that were my guy and it is legal by NCAA rule, I don't believe the commissioner has the right to stop me from hiring somebody unless it puts damage to the league by NCAA rule. And I think that's over for Hugh. He wouldn't be at liberty right now if that were the problem.
It's supposed to be over, but it brought a lot of stuff to the league. And I don't, and like I said, I don't know whether it is or isn't, but that's out there, and I don't know whether it's right or not.
Right. No, I hear you.
I like Greg Sankey. I think I told you this off there. The current SEC CBS 230 deal they have next year, and then CBS, they think, and it's debatable whether they do or don't, have right of first refusal for the next deal. It's about a $55 million a year deal right now. So 55 divided by 14. They think it will exceed $200 million a year at the next contract signing.
Man, that is unbelievable.
Every linebacker coach is going to be making $2 million in the SEC.
Man.
They're looking for ways to spend money and usually find them. But Lane Kiffin, it sure sounds like it's going to happen at Ole Miss, and I just hope. And, everybody uses Ed Orgeron as a coach that learned, right?
Mm-hmm.
From first head coaching job to when he got his second at-bat. Got his second at-bat at LSU. That's a good way to get back in the batter's box. What did Will Muschamp learn from Florida to South Carolina? I bet Will Muschamp would have learned a lot if he had gotten the next job at LSU.
If we're making judgments on that, I think it goes beyond just what you do on the field in X's and O's. I think both Ed Orgeron and hopefully Lane Kiffin, and I do believe to a certain extent Lane Kiffin, it's the maturity
I do too.
in wisdom
Now 45.
for decision-making, not necessarily X's and O's.
Hey, I was different from 35 to 45.
Mm-hmm. I really think Lane Kiffin, and I was not a big fan of his at Tennessee, and I thought he really did them wrong, too, in the long run. I mean, he just bolted after
1 year.
After doing
7-6.
Right. Then, obviously, at USC, they felt about him much like Davis did at Oakland, because
get home the best way you can.
They left him at the airport. But then he goes and sort of learns maybe the way you should do things.
Through the car wash
from Nick Saban. And that whitewashed him, as you said, cleaned him up. And then he's done a heck of a job at Florida Atlantic. Won a championship, got him back into the championship game.
Went 5-7
this
last year.
He did. He had a bad year in between, but rebounded. Got him in the championship game against UAB tomorrow. So I think
goes back to Conference USA.
Here's the other part of it. Here's the part of it.
All roads lead back to Coosa.
No. The roads all trace back to money. And there is a lack of interest, or it was at the end of this year, for the Ole Miss football program. That even you documented yesterday. Mm-hmm. And Lane Kiffin will bring the excitement to the fan base where they will come back and buy tickets.
That 25,000, 30,000 season ticket number, I don't know that he'll double it. I don't know if they want to double it. They want to leave some for opposing team and game day sales. But you sure like to have that money because you can bank it, and the miracle of compounding interest when you get that ticket money in. I think he could take that 25 to 30 number to 40 to 45 overnight. I mean, next week. I mean, if indeed he is hired, and all indications now from too many solid people out there that it looks like that he will be, and it really leaves Arkansas wanting, because I think they thought they had him. The loose tie 40 years ago with Monty.
I think they did think they had him last night.
I thought they really thought they had him Sunday into Monday, and then it got a little looser. And I think they thought they had the advantage with the contractual terms, the years that they could have. From what I'm getting, his examination of the Arkansas roster, recruiting base, and next year's schedule. And Ole Miss's schedule next year is no day at the beach. that Arkansas schedule next year, whew, somebody's taking on tougher and boot leather job. And there's some talk now, and it's not going to be Butch Davis, and it's not going to be Houston Nutt. And I visited.
And it's not going to be Bobby Petrino.
It's not going to be Bobby Petrino. And I visited with Houston a few weeks ago that when his name was out there, all he did is take a call from an athletics department person, very nice man named John Fagg, and John just asked him in general, what should we be looking for? And then that circulated. Houston's not going to take the Texas San Antonio job either. They're going to hire a search firm and probably hire somebody really young. But he is a good friend with Larry Coker, and they talked about what they just as friends. But it's not going to get down to Butch Davis or Houston. But it could end up being give Barry Lunny the job and really try to staff him up with an all-star staff.
I think if they can find a young guy they really like, and maybe the guy that we thought was going to go to Ole Miss, Billy Napier, maybe that's the way.
There's been no contact with Napier camp in Arkansas, zero.
So you think all their eggs were in the Lane train, and
not all
that puts them.
Not all. I think it really. I think it surprised them the lack of interest from Willie Fritz.
I'm shocked at that. But Willie likes it in New Orleans, and I think Willie is
Mike Leach
sort of a bit like Mike Norvell. You're going to wait because you got a good thing going. You're going to wait until that job comes up that's really the right one for you.
But don't count them out. It feels a little now. The program was in a lot different shape at that time. But remember all the swings and misses at Lane Kiffin and Bobby Petrino back in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up talking Bobby Petrino into it. They've got a lot of money. They can win a money offer.
Over Ole Miss?
Well, it doesn't appear in this case it's going to be over Ole Miss, but in a lot of cases they can go out and throw it around at somebody if they want to. It's just a lot of things hurting Arkansas right now. Again, that roster, that schedule,
Mm-hmm.
that recruiting base, life in the SEC West. It's real feel. The pesky 19-game losing streak in the SEC. And they open next year on the road at Starkville to either end it at 19 or it continues to 20.
Other story today.
I'm a little shocked. Bill Clark at UAB has just gotten
he could have
nothing
up there, right? And they haven't talked to him either. I'm shocked at that as well. This story really just coming in the last hour or so. The New York Knicks have finally pushed the button and have fired David Fizdale. 4-18, worst record in the Eastern Conference, tied for the worst start through 22 games in their team's history. Hard to believe the worst record in the NBA belongs to Golden State at 4-19. But David Fizdale out. David Fizdale clearly is a great press conference guy. He sure seems articulate. He seems to do a lot of the right things in my mind. He certainly says the right things, but he does not motivate players for some reason. And it ended badly here. I never thought he got a real chance here. I'm not sure he got a real chance in New York. The guy gets good jobs, but never seems to last long enough to have a chance.
No, and both places had a lot of challenges to it, both what he got here in Memphis and what he took over with the Knicks. But you got to win a little more than that, don't you?
Yes.
To make any kind of case for.
But they could
let me see it to the other side.
They could not get any free agents to come, and the best player they had in years, Porzingis, left, and that was a decision that was made by the Knicks brass, not by David Fizdale per se. And we've got a friend who is from this market and worked for the Grizzlies, worked for Chris Wallace. He went with David Fizdale there. Mm-hmm. I wonder what Marcus's job security is now, and I'm sad for that. The thing that I think strikes me the most is, and you said it, he just doesn't win enough, but. The truth is that I don't really know if he's ever had a fair chance. He never had the personnel in New York to have a fighting chance.
I mean, are they going to give him Here's the Lakers.
Well, he was handed the worst personnel that you could possibly have. And in Memphis, he really didn't do a bad job. He just didn't get along with the analytics guys that were trying to tell him what to do. And, that's the way of the world now. And so you have to accept that, I guess,
get ready for
if you're going to be a coach.
Get ready for it. Social media and over the airwaves. Here comes Dwayne Wade and LeBron James to talk about how wronged he's been. And he just doesn't have much of a defense with that record. I mean, I don't know what job he's supposed to be at to finally get the fair chance. He's had 2 cracks.
Yep.
There's a lot of basketball people who would like to have 2 shots at head coaching jobs in the NBA.
I agree.
And he's just done absolutely nothing.
My question would be, how much really of an opportunity did he get?
And Dave, when as a little guy, the Knicks were my team. I was a Willis Reed, Walt Frazier, Earl Monroe, Bill Bradley, Dick Barnett fan. That was my team. And there was a time, and we sure have moved way away from it now, there was a time when you rattled off kind of the all-time kings of the NBA. You always would start with Celtics, Lakers. Mm-hmm. That would be prominent in anybody's rattling off. And I don't know if the Knicks were in the top 3 or 4 or 5, but you would get to the Knicks. You don't even get to them now. Next spring will be 47 years since they last won it all. That's a long time.
Well, you always talked about the Knicks because the Garden was the Mecca.
It
all began there. I mean, that's a big part, really, the Celtics and the Knicks are the ones that you talk about when you
they were the kings of the East.
When you talk about basketball in the NBA. You really do. Those were the pro times. And it's certainly not the case.
The Bulls supplanted the Spurs.
Last thing before we get to top story and not top story, because there's so many stories today, but what did you say to me? What did you call in the most disrespectful way yesterday? What did you call Mitchell to you, Mr. Mitchell Trubisky?
Mitch Mitchell had a great game.
Mitchell?
He had a great game last night.
There used to be a guy, a conductor named Mitch Miller.
Yeah,
maybe you're confusing.
Well, he was no conductor last night.
He conducted a very big victory.
Was Mitch Mitchell good last night, or are the Cowboys that bad?
Good question. All I can tell you is, you know how many wins the Cowboys have against teams that are 500 or better? Zero. And still zero.
Oddest thing out of that game last night, the team with the momentum, the team that won, probably won't go to the playoffs.
Could.
And the team.
They could now. They've won 5 of 6. If they win out, there's a good chance they'll get in. And they got a tough.
Mitchell ain't winning out. You know that, Dave.
Mitchell,
Dave, remember, you gave up on him.
I can't believe.
Drew, help me out. Why didn't we flag that tape?
I can't believe this disrespect.
Dave,
that's the Bears you're talking about,
said,
man.
Dave, you called him a bum.
He's grown just like Lane Kiffin.
In 2 months?
Yes.
In 2.5?
Yes.
Mid-September,
in about 2 games.
You were stomping mad at him. You gave up on him.
In about 2 games. How about those Bears last night?
Mitch Mitchell winning nothing.
I can't wait for the Friday football forecast.
Well, we're going to get to it.
Because you are sinking like a rock in water.
Too, Dave. We've reeled
rock
you
in water.
We reeled you in to hurt your feelings when we yank it out from under you this year.
You're going to have to find some new excuse. That's what you said in golf. Now it's football. I don't know what to tell you.
Drew, help me. We let you in.
We let you in. I put it on the tee.
Get your buddy. You need help.
This hour brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 362-8833. Lexus of Memphis having the December to Remember sales event. Great offers on all 2020 models. Always on special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Lexus of Memphis, the highest standards in the car industry. You can stop by today at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 362-8833. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
We could play the train song again if we wanted to. Because here comes Tiger Woods. Ladies and gentlemen, he shot another 5 under today. He's 11 under. I don't think he's going to win the Hero Challenge here.
Next week, Captain Tiger Woods.
I know it.
Playing
because Gary Woodland's 13 under. And today's the last day, right? Don't they leave tomorrow?
I'm not sure, Dave.
No, they've actually
I don't know what day it is.
I'm not sure what the heck it is.
I don't know.
But can I tell you, so
I'm going to plug my golf brain back in next week. I'm sorry.
Listen to this. since his medical procedure, the numbers in reverse order look this way: 67, 66, 72, bad round, even par, 67, 66, 64,
Boy,
64.
We all could use that medical procedure, couldn't we?
I'm just going to tell you right now, they're going to win the President's Cup, no big deal. He's going to be a part of it. He's only going to play one team and one singles, okay? He's going to excel. He's going to win both matches. And then he's going to blow away people at Augusta. This one's over
back to back
already.
You're caught. Dave.
Look at this. 67, 66, 72.
Do you want me to flag the tape?
66,
Please,
64, 64.
You'll be trashing him when we go 75, 74 and miss his cut.
I'm not going to trash him.
My top-
He's no Mitch Trubisky.
My top story, tomorrow at the Liberty Bowl Stadium, the biggest game ever in Tigers football history. Can't buy this kind of publicity. You really can't. You only way you get this, you earn it. Mike Norvell, whether he leaves or not, it's unarguable if he leaves. He is leaving this program in the best shape ever for a successor. That's unarguable. He's leaving it better than he found it. He found it in good shape, but the next guy can come in, and his goal should simply be top what Mike Norvell did at a time that we're going to have another round of conference realignment. There will be no excuses not to have the Tigers as part of any conference realignment next time around. They've done it at the gate, on the field, the way you're supposed to do it. Tigers
on the court, too.
On the court as well.
Yeah. Tomorrow's going to be so much fun. I mean, I will not sleep tonight. I've been doing this so long that rarely happens. But
this is a big one.
This is that kind of moment.
But first tee jitters, what kind of fun type jitters? I mean, it's like riding a bicycle for you when you get there. But tomorrow's special for you.
Yeah,
you called a lot of games.
I'm more nervous for them than I am for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just to think that you could be doing that we could be going to the Cotton Bowl to play Alabama or Florida or whoever that may be. That
Cotton Bowl officials will be there.
Just tomorrow. Amazing. But by the way, a quick text from our friend Ted Butler, who will be joining us in a couple of months. Ted Butler says there is one more round for that Hero World Challenge, which means Tiger's going to win this one, too. That's another 64 tomorrow, something like that.
Not top story of the day.
Oh, Jerry Jones.
Mine too.
I mean,
not top stories. Both Jerry, it might mean it was top.
It was terrible.
It was.
I mean, he's lost it. Although, I will give him this.
Jerry looks desperate, doesn't
he? He looks frustrated beyond reason. Kind of looks nutso, if you want to know the truth. So he's on the Fan sports station in Dallas.
Went to cussing.
And he did say that the responsibility in this mess is shared, that he's got a part in it too.
Did he say mess, or was that cussing?
And some people said he let go of the F word. He never did. He said to the
got up to the line.
He got into the interview in a testy way by basically telling, he did a Howard Cosell. He basically told the two guys that were interviewing him, they better get their act together. They better know their facts. Something of that along those lines. And then he used
facts speak for themselves.
Then
They've won 3 playoff games in 20 some odd years.
Then he basically said something about how this is all BS, but he didn't say BS. He used the words, the S word in particular. And the first time they hit the delay, they let it slide. The second time they hit the delay and they cut him off. And it wasn't him hanging up. They hung up on him. He called back and apparently had a little different attitude about the whole thing.
Have a hotline number?
Yes, he did.
He does. He's not lost in the
I don't know if it's as quick as the White House's, but he did call back. There you go. And
he calling us?
And when he did, he had a little different attitude, and he said, "Look, I'm as frustrated as anybody. I'm a big part of this." And I don't think he's firing Garrett today.
Same not top story for me. Jerry Jones, he has a busy December. He's got to get a coach at his alma mater at Arkansas. He's got to get one for his Cowboys. And Jason Garrett won't be back next year. And the Cowboys probably won't finish over 500 this year, but they still should win the NFC East. The Eagles have the Giants on Monday Night Football at Washington, home against Dallas. And the Cowboys, they have the Rams at the Eagles and home against Washington. Garbage schedules for both. Somebody's going to be a home team. out of the NFC East.
I know. The East is the least. There is no doubt about that. We have got a busy show coming your way. We will be joined in a minute by Bruce Marshall. Then we will talk with John David Bedour near the top of the hour. The Touchdown Club getting close to their last meeting of the year, if it's not. Mike Detillier from down in Baton Rouge will join us, and then Glenn Rogers, his farewell, the final high school football report coming your way. Andy Schiffman, our agent on the NBA, and more. He'll come your way at 5. And then Friday football forecast. We're coming down to the stretch here, and we'll see how all these games will play out. Crunch time coming your way right at the end of this Friday at about 5:50. So we are underway, and this is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. If you need a roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you, and we will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. We have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for many years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies' new look, the Redbirds, the 901 FC, and the Tigers football and basketball teams, it's going to be a fun year. Thank you to Coach Norvell, Coach Hardaway, and their staffs for your dedication to your student athletes, the University of Memphis, and to fans like me who have waited forever to have both the football and basketball teams ranked at the same time. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Your nationally ranked Memphis Tigers are playing host to Cincinnati in the American Athletic Conference Football Championship game on Saturday at 2:30 p.m. This is the 3rd straight championship game appearance for the Tigers, but this time it's at home. Tickets start at just $20 and are available now at GoTigersGo.com or by calling 901-678-2331. Memphis versus Cincinnati on Saturday, December 7th at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Be there and help the Tigers win the AAC Championship and a trip to the Cotton Bowl. Stripe up.
Third and Court couldn't settle for just being the perfect throwback diner with a modern twist. Now you have to go downstairs from Third and Court and visit the Underground Lounge, a bar straight out of the 50s, but like Third and Court with a modern twist. Nick the mixologist has created a menu of signature cocktails you literally can't find anywhere else. Check out the laid-back atmosphere, the live music, the cool vibe, and the original drinks that can only be found at the Underground Lounge downstairs from Third and Court. Yet another great addition to downtown Memphis.
It's that time of year. Come join us at Family Leisure, 2120 Winton Road, Thursday, December 12th, all day, 7 to 6. We're raising money and, most importantly, bringing toys for Mid-South Toys for Tots. Help the boys and girls of the Mid-South have a happy holiday. You can do it. Bring those new unwrapped toys, checks, cash. Family Leisure, 2120 Winton Road, Thursday, December 12th, 7 to 6. Sponsored by Envy Nail Bar, Gateway Tire, David C. Nanny CPA in Hempville, South Haven, and Oxford.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129.
It Chapter 2, Pennywise is back. Tune in to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3, for a chance to win It Chapter 2. The Losers Club reunites after 3 decades to face their deepest fears again in It Chapter 2 and destroy Pennywise once and for all. It Chapter 2. Win the digital movie now with Johnny Radio on Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1 FM.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
Roger back in. Mark this down. Next Thursday, a week from yesterday, we will be at Toys for Tot at Family Leisure. That's the way Family Leisure is. That's how they go. And it's really a great time for us because they now have this Christmas sale, which is basically buy one, get one half off. So if you're looking for that perfect gift for your friend or your family, Now you get to buy for them, and you get half off for yourself if that's the way you want to go. You can give to your cousin and your aunt if that's the way you want to go. You can give to your cousin and yourself if that's the way you want to go. And I'm talking the best deals for Christmas now, all the way until Christmas Eve, like pool tables as low as $14.99, arcades as low as $9.99, those great massage chairs only $6.99, and even hot tubs as low as $1,400. Stop by Family Leisure and get your Christmas shopping done in a great way right there at I-40 and Whidden Road. And don't forget, we'll be there all day long next Thursday for our annual Toys for Tots. So all kinds of speculation. Somebody on the First Bank text line's already said, whoa, don't go with just the Lane Kiffin thing. Mike Norvell, according to the Ole Miss Spirit, is still in play. I don't think that is the case, but let's go to Las Vegas. The man who always has his ear to the grapevine. That would be our friend Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet. Let's start with coaches. What are you hearing about who will end up where, Bruce Marshall?
Well, you guys in Memphis are part of some of my go-to guys there on this stuff, since it's right in your wheelhouse. But from what we're hearing, Lane Kiffin, Jimmy Sexton's moving pieces around. Ole Miss for him, Mike Norvell, Florida State. A couple of names are floating out there. I don't think Joe Brady's going to move yet. Graham Harrell, Clay Helton's top assistant, offensive coordinator, probably moves laterally as an assistant, although there's several jobs opening up out in the West, in the Mountain West, that he might want to go to. But right now, wouldn't be surprised if Kiffin ends up at Ole Miss and Mike Norvell ends up at Florida State. We'll see.
Bruce, wasn't it a particularly ugly week for USC to air a lot of dirty laundry from their aggravation at being hamstrung money-wise to the edict of no more Jimmy Sexton clients? Well, that about rules you out in the college football world.
Well, if they're going to do that, then but they're Jimmy's got a quorum on a lot of these guys, and Clay was his guy too. The SC is a very interesting case there because I think listen, I like Clay, but I know what the deal is there, and SC, a lot of the old line boosters were kind of shut out of this whole process. They were convinced, though, that Helton was going to go, and I think this is more the case of Mike Bond coming in here from Cincinnati and just saying, you guys aren't going to tell me what to do. I'll do this on my own time frame here. And I think that's the case. Clay's still on the hot seat for next year. I know some SC people who want to fire Bond right now because he didn't make this move. Clay's going to be better off getting out of there, I think, because that place is a dangerous fishbowl. It's not going to change any because they got a new AD or new school president. Eventually, there's the biggest money people at SC are the ones who are telling the school president and the AD, okay, you're in charge, until they're not. So if these guys think they want to play kings and queens, that's only until somebody tells them they can't. And I have a feeling this whole thing is going to continue at SC, although, Clay, listen, UCLA win. Talk about a winning from losing for UCLA. They get destroyed by SC. That allows SC to keep. That was the determining factor maybe for SC to keep Helton. And a guy like Urban Meyer doesn't show up at SC. It's probably a win-win for UCLA.
Kind of this, that was the same dynamic around the Egg Bowl. It felt like game day. Joe Moorhead was out, and Matt Luke was going to stay. And then the game unfolded in the last few seconds. How it unfolded, and Joe Moorhead he stays, and Matt Luke's out.
Yeah, and but you wonder, this carousel is spinning, and Boston College has opened up in the last week. Now Rutgers filled it with Schiano. Mm-hmm. Let's just we'll see how the dust settles here, and if BC might make a cast a lure toward Moorhead. I don't think they will, but it's possible. But yeah, they're at least not pushing them out yet. But I think that the carousel is going to start spinning quicker. By the way, the Mountain West has suddenly got a bunch of these things open up. Colorado State, Fresno is going to open up now. Jeff Tedford's going to step down. UNLV, New Mexico. So the carousel is just starting to spin.
One guy not leaving, and that is James Franklin. According to Brett McMurphy, he has just agreed to a new 6-year contract to remain at Penn State through 2025. So if he may have been thinking about USC, and once that door closed, he didn't really want to go anywhere else, and therefore he is staying. Florida State President John Trasser has urged donors to up their giving to a one-time 20%
They're sending the collection
increase
plate around, Bruce.
to fund the coaching search. Now, do you think that is for Norvell, or is that to try to get Stoops or somebody else?
I still believe it would be Norvell there. Now, Mark Stoops could certainly still be on their radar because he had coached down there. He's done great at Kentucky. Norvell, though, has a little bit more of an offense that would excite them at Florida State.
No, Bruce, I think Dave meant Bob Stoops, not Mark at Kentucky.
Yeah, I meant Bob.
Oh, okay. Well, Bob Stoops. Okay, there you go. Maybe. I mean, I think, Bob says he wants to coach in this Vince McMahon league, so he wants to get back in.
Wait, what is he making there? $1 million? I mean, come on, he can't be making much more than that.
No, he can't be making near what. I mean, the thought was, and I do shows in Norman, and James Hale, a good radio guy there, he swears to me that Stoops still doesn't want to coach at the college level, and maybe he would do this McMahon thing. But it sounds to me like Stoops wants back in, so maybe he would. But there's going to be some other things opening up here pretty soon.
You know what? Brett just brought up the point about how much money Arkansas has that they can throw around. And maybe this is Jimmy just pulling strings here. So Kiffin is now going to Ole Miss, and Arkansas has missed the boat. And maybe they're coming back with so much money to try to get Mike Norvell that Florida State's got to up the ante, and they got to go past the collection plate.
Well, that's what
I'm just all speculating.
He won't survive.
But, I mean, that is exactly right in Jimmy Sexton's wheelhouse right here.
He knows how to play these sides better than anybody.
The best.
And that very well could be in his life. And if Arkansas is willing to just keep writing checks for any By the way, did you notice their reason to stink about Bielema and his the buyout for him? I mean, there's some question about that now. So it's not, there's a lot of moving pieces here, but Arkansas is definitely still out there, and we'll see what happens with the Ole Miss. I guess until these things actually settle, who knows? But it's Jimmy Sexton time of year, that's for sure.
It is.
Last thing on the carousel, and the only reason I bring it up is that you just say you do the show in Norman. Well, after last night, I think it's pretty evident that Garrett is not going to be around after this season is over. I don't think Jerry Jones is going to fire Jason Garrett before the end of the year, and he made that pretty clear on Dallas radio today. But in the long run, is Lincoln Riley his guy? Will Oklahoma be open when this season comes to a close?
It very well could, and that's what I was saying about these dominoes could keep falling in different directions. Yes, that could open up. Lincoln will be on Jerry's short list. Listen, that could be. Bob Stoops used to be on his short list. That could be a possibility. Urban Meyer is there. Matt Rule could be on Jerry's list. I think he's going to do something bold this time. And he may look in the college ranks because there's some very progressive guys there, and we're seeing some of these college-like offenses really take off in the NFL. So it wouldn't surprise me if Jerry went that direction. But, yes, they are a little worried about Riley.
Bruce,
Norman.
Let's go hurry up, no huddle offense, and start with a good one tonight out in Santa Clara in a mud hole at the 49er Stadium, Utah and Oregon.
Yeah, some weather up there apparently, and this could get pretty hairy tonight. I think both these teams are bullies. I think Utah's a little bit more of a bully. Oregon didn't react too well last week in the Civil War against Oregon State. Utah should not be fifth in the polls. I don't think they're that good. They'll be exposed if they get in the Final Four, but they probably win tonight. And we're going to reduce the score forecast because of the wet stuff up there. 30 to 14, Utah. But we still like Utah, and we're still laying the points with the Utes. So
the over-under I had seen was 45. So you're going under, but you like them by the 2 touchdowns or more. You like them by 16. Wow.
Yeah, that was a key release tonight. Yeah,
I'm with you on that one. I've been all Utah
key release
all day long. All right,
he has been
most complete team, they say, in college football is Ohio State. They're 15-point favorites over Wisconsin. How do you see it?
Well, boy, I would love to see Wisconsin win just to shut these Ohio State people up. And I a team like Ohio State, maybe they're like Nebraska in '95 and just going to grind everybody into dust. I want to see what happens to one of these teams in Plan B when Plan A doesn't work. Ohio State really hasn't had that yet, except a little bit against Penn State, and they started to panic in that game. Wisconsin has got to establish Jonathan Taylor and slow this game down. I don't think they can do it. And Ohio State so gleefully runs up the scores, I think they'll do it again. 38-16, Buckeyes are score forecast in this one.
Ohio State pretty easily in the Big Ten game. Another team that likes to run it up, and he's running hot, Clemson and UVA in Charlotte in the ACC championship.
That's the biggest spread of any of these championship games, 28.
Yeah. This sort of reminds me. It's getting like funny money in these spreads now with Clemson. Sort of reminds me of the Charger 49ers Super Bowl, the biggest point spread in the NFL back here 25 years ago. But because Clemson keeps destroying these teams, maybe they'll do it again. I mean, Dabo's team is hot. They are scoring better, 53 per game in the last 5. There are some nice things about Virginia. Bryce Perkins is good. The Broncos 7-2 last night as a dog. We'll apply that in the bowl game for Virginia when we'll talk about a team they might have a chance against. Not tomorrow. 48-13 Clemson. They look angry in Death Valley, and I think that Clemson will pull out no stops tomorrow, and hope they don't get drawn with there's the other thing, is LSU, who's going to face them in the Final Four to be determined.
All right, well, let's go to that game. LSU, a touchdown favorite over Georgia. Georgia's defense is so stout. LSU's defense is not. So the two weaker sides here, how will they fare? That may end up determining this game. How does the Gold Sheet have it?
I don't think, first of all, LSU, the game's got the pace of so much. The defense is better than the stats showed. I mean, if you put LSU's defense at Northwestern, it might be the top defense in the country. Just the pace of the games are that way. Although not as strong as Georgia's defense. I don't think Georgia turned into this old-fashioned team this year, running the football and defense. I don't think that was by design, at least the offensive part. I don't think Kirby went into the season planning that. Fromm just struggled more than he should have this year. Chaney leaving as offensive coordinator might have had something to do with it, but they just don't move the ball that consistently. And at some point, if they lose a little contact with LSU, they're going to have trouble catching up. 37-23 LSU. Joe Burrow gets ready for the Heisman. It'll be close for a while, then I think they'll put him away late. My bone to pick with the whole committee is LSU should not be sitting at 2 behind Ohio State. I think they got an agenda with that bunch. If we have more time next week, we'll talk about it. But I don't think they want to put an SEC team up.
Over 900 voters, and we know how the Hall of Fame voters often don't like anybody unanimously. Could Joe Burrow win the Heisman with 100% of the vote?
Probably
no.
Just because that's so odd, probably no.
Just one iconoclast out there.
There's too many voters.
Yeah.
There's just no way that could take place. Even though
I want to see a ballot that doesn't have him in the top 3.
Oh, I think he's going to be in the top 3 of every ballot. I'd be shocked if he's not in the top 3.
If it's not, that should be reported to the Standards Committee.
Brett just became a voter, and now
I'm going to report.
Now he's getting uppity. All
right, Bruce.
That's pretty impressive.
The big one, 2:30 tomorrow, Liberty Bowl Stadium, Tigers in Cincinnati.
Quick editorializing by me. This is what I hate about college football. In college hoops, a team as good as Memphis would get a shot to play for the whole thing. Who says Memphis isn't better than Utah? I think the Americans better than the Pac-12, and this angers me because Memphis, if you're going to consider Utah for the Final Four, then Memphis should be considered for it. Whatever. Tomorrow, I think they get Cincinnati. This a little bit like UAB and Middle Tennessee last year. UAB turned that around in the second game, quick rematch. I don't think Cincy can do it. I think Cincy was all out last week to win that game. Fell short. Memphis can probably play a little bit better. And they will win at the Liberty Bowl, 38-23, our score forecast here.
We love you.
And we will take the Tigers. We'll go to the Cotton Bowl in style.
Wow, we love you for that. Who do you think they'll play in the Cotton Bowl? Real quick.
Florida.
That'd be fun.
Any of the games that we didn't get to in college football, any of the championship games, you like something from the MAC anywhere,
or Oklahoma Baylor,
and one or two of your favorite NFL picks, Bruce.
Central Michigan, I think, will beat Miami, Ohio tomorrow in the MAC. I'm going to look under the total in the Sun Belt, Louisiana Lafayette and App State. They didn't come close to this 57 this year or their 2 games last year. So we're going to go under with that one. The NFL on Sunday. How about the Bengals? I mean, why not? I mean, they're playing well. They've covered 5 in a row at Cleveland. Andy Dalton's back in the saddle this week. And talk about a win-win. They won the game last week, but they didn't lose any ground to the Skins or Dolphins in the race for the top draft pick. Bengals plus the points on Sunday.
How do we get more of you, my friend?
Thanks, Dave. Check us out online, goldsheet.com. We got that new basketball issue up there now. That comes out every Thursday, and, of course, football every Monday. And we got all the conference title games, NFL games for this weekend. Monday, a new issue. Then the following week, we start covering the Bulls. Goldsheet.com. My picks up there. Also Vegas Insider and DonBest.com.
Thank you, Bruce. Have a great weekend. We appreciate it.
Oh, okay.
Always love chatting with him, especially when he picks our guys, because he's usually right on the money. This portion of the show is brought to you by an organization I'm so proud of. Today, Brett, this should have been in the top story of the day. Campbell Clinic opened up and unveiled their new $49 million expansion. Have you seen this palace and how big it is? Woo! It is impressive.
And how it's going to improve people's lives.
It is. They already have in so many ways. They keep doing it. And now they can do it for even more people. And, you know, they're the only ones with a pediatric orthopedic wing. They got 6 doctors when nobody else has any. And, of course, if you're looking for any kind of joint replacement because the joint pain is getting you, they make it so easy. All you've got to do is make this call. They've got 5 convenient locations in the area, plus truly a brand-new palace on Germantown Road. 759-3111 or schedule an appointment at campbellclinic.com.
Bruce, on the year, 52-47 in college football. That's 53%. In the NFL, 22-9. That's 71%. Overall, 74-56. Good for 57% on the year.
That's about as good as you can get. We take a break. Back in a minute. John David Badura will let us know about. I'm not sure if this is the final, because we have a Liberty Bowl night too.
I think this is it this week.
Is this it? Well, we'll find out for sure from John David Badura. He's next. Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. For more than 26 years, they've supplied all the diesel parts that you need. From simple repairs to complete overhauls, they have it all. Whether it's heavy, medium, light duty, agricultural, marine, or off-road, Mid-South Power is the leading source for all things diesel. Fuel injection, turbochargers, engine parts, alternators, starters, and brakes, they can supply all the parts and services you need. Stop in today at 3250 Mill Branch Road in Memphis or call 901-396-0710.
Memphis, it's official. Crab King Seafood is where it's at. For the most flavored seafood and biggest plates, run to a Crab King's near you. Visit our Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or our East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Starting this week, get 3 juicy snow crabs, 17 shrimps, 2 whole sausages, 2 corn, 2 eggs, and a large side of potatoes for only $43.99. That's right, $43.99. The price, the portions, the service is why Crab Kings is #1. Make the right choice the first time. Make it Crab Kings. Come and devour our tasty snow crabs, king crabs, shrimp, salmon, and catfish. Enjoy Memphis' best tasting pastas with your choice of toppings. Visit our Bartlett Cordova locations at 7140 Stage Road or our East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Crab Kings is open Tuesday through Sunday. For more information, Google Crab Kings Memphis or download the app. Crab Kings, a Memphis original.
It Chapter 2, Pennywise is back. Tune in to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3, for a chance to win It Chapter 2. The Losers Club reunites after 3 decades to face their deepest fears again in It Chapter 2 and destroy Pennywise once and for all. It Chapter 2. Win the digital movie now with Johnny Radio on Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1 FM. How would you like a chance to win house payments for a year? Go to Sports 56 WHBQ and enter to win in our Home for the Holidays contest. You could win mortgage or rent payments for a full year. That's right. Get your home paid for an entire year. It's free to enter, so go to sports56whbq.com today. Enter now because it ends December 20th. It's the ultimate home court advantage. Home for the Holidays from Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Back at Mac in the Family Leisure Studios. Football season coming to an end. A little bit later in the program, Glenn Rogers Jr. will be with us. We'll be saying our farewells to him until next summer when we all pick it back up again. It won't be long before the Touchdown Club of Memphis will have their final meeting, and John David Bedour, as he has done all season long, joins us now. How are you this afternoon, my friend?
Doing great. We've got two meetings this coming week, Dave. We've got Monday night will be our Alabama night meeting, and we've got the defensive line coach, Brian Baker, coming up. He's a guy with 20 years NFL experience, a lot of great stories, and we'll find out what's going on with Alabama, and we'll know then what bowl they're going to and, you know, what has happened to them this season.
I'm going to make a bold prediction, John David. Bama will be back next year, and they'll be good. They only went 10-2 this year, and they're all so sad.
Oh, they'll be good. There's no doubt about it.
They could be playing in a bowl game against Memphis in the Cotton Bowl.
Sure could be.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. If anybody wants to come, it's $40. Go to tdcmemphis.com, tdcmemphis.com. And then on December the 12th, that's the Thursday of next week, we're going to have our AutoZone Liberty Bowl meeting. We'll announce the players of the year, our offensive and defensive players. And it's either going to be a lunch or a dinner. We don't know yet, but it'll be on our website, tdcmemphis.com, on our Facebook page, or on our Twitter page.
Both meetings will be at East Memphis Hilton?
Yes.
All right. And I'm assuming that both of your players of the year will be going to Division I colleges next year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you got some.
They will be.
You got some good prospects. Now, with the with AutoZone Liberty Bowl, coaches that will be in the game, will they appear or just university representatives?
Well, we don't know yet because we don't know the teams, and there's been so much speculation who's going to be in what bowl. Nobody really knows. I do think Iowa State will be here from the Big 12.
It feels
That's just my guess.
And that would be great, John David, because you'd almost want to make them permanent AutoZone Liberty Bowl team. Their fans are great.
I think Iowa State and Mississippi State is a very good bet on this.
That would be a preferred game, or Kentucky. To me, Mississippi State makes all the sense in the world. But, you know, it's up to the SEC office. And really, ESPN has a whole hand because they pay for
they sure do.
To have own bowls, and they kind of make a lot of decisions with kind of an invisible hand.
And it could be Navy, and it could be SMU, somebody that's not from the SEC if there's not enough SEC teams.
Absolutely. Let me tell you something. You guys are talking about Lane Kiffin. Lane owes me to come to the Touchdown Club. He guaranteed, this was at the Orlando AFCA meeting, American Football Coaches meeting. I talked to him right after he came out of the SEC coaches meeting, walked him up the stairs. He looked me in the eye and guaranteed he would come and speak to the Touchdown Club as the Tennessee coach. He walked out of the hotel, went to the airport. 2 hours later, I see over ESPN he's taking the Southern Cal job.
Well,
so he guaranteed me he'd come. I'm going to hold him to it.
He owes you. He still owes you one.
If he signs that deal with Ole Miss, he owes you.
And Ole Miss and Tennessee will play in Knoxville in 2021. Not next year, but the following year.
Right. You know what? I think Lane is a great pick. Lane sells tickets and he creates excitement.
He does.
We need both.
Absolutely.
He does that.
You know, I'm looking at Blake Anderson going to Missouri.
And they'd be getting him a good coach and a good man.
That seems to be the direction we keep hearing, and maybe that is the way that the folks up in Columbia are leaning. John David, thank you so much.
Great
Just
year,
so we
John
know,
David.
Monday night, second to last meeting of the year, Brian Baker, the Alabama defensive line coach, will be there. Then the 12th on Thursday. We don't know if it's an afternoon or an evening event. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl meeting with the offensive and the defensive high school players of the year. And if you want to know more, and especially to find out when that meeting will be at the Hilton on the 12th, you go to tdcmemphis.com.
Thank you, John David.
Thank you. And both meetings are $40, and that includes the meal and everything. It's a great time. Come on out and join us.
You got it. Thank you. We appreciate it.
A lot of fun.
With these holidays coming up, I know you want to look good. If you're going to a Touchdown Club meeting, you want to look good. How do you do that? You go to Supercuts. 15 different locations now to serve you. They're so easy. You just go to supercuts.com, look on the locator, find out the one that's nearest to you, walk through the door, tell them you want to look good, tell them we sent you. They'll smile. They'll ask you what kind of cut you're looking for. You can tell them. They all know details matter. At Supercuts, they all know every new trend, every new cut, and every haircut ends with the hot towel finish. That leaves you invigorated. That leaves you relaxed. Leaves you feeling good. And you're looking good. That always makes you feel good. And that's the way you'll walk out the door if you go to Supercuts. Back in just 1 minute, Mike Detillier from WWL in New Orleans. You talk about a guy who's got to be feeling great. If you cover LSU and you cover the Saints, you don't lose football games. He'll talk about all of that in just a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
It's that time of year. Come join us at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, Thursday, December 12th, all day, 7 to 6. We're raising money and, most importantly, bringing toys for Mid-South Toys for Tots. Help the boys and girls of the Mid-South have a happy holiday. You can do it. Bring those new unwrapped toys, checks, cash. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, Thursday, December 12th, 7 to 6. Sponsored by Envy Nail Bar, Gateway Tire, David C. Nanny CPA in Hempville, South Haven, and Oxford.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Benswinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Benswinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Benswinger Glass in Midtown, located at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Benswinger Glass.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
How would you like a chance to win house payments for a year? Go to Sports 56 WHBQ and enter to win in our Home for the Holidays contest. You could win mortgage or rent payments for a full year. That's right. Get your home paid for an entire year. It's free to enter, so go to sports56whbq.com today. Enter now because it ends December 20th. It's the ultimate home court advantage. Home for the Holidays from Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1. It Chapter 2, Pennywise is back. Tune in to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3, for a chance to win It Chapter 2. The Losers Club reunites after 3 decades to face their deepest fears again in It Chapter 2 and destroy Pennywise once and for all. It Chapter 2. Win the digital movie now with Johnny Radio on Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1 FM.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Wolo and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back into the Family Leisure Studios to New Orleans. We go in a minute. Mike Detillier from WWL will join us here momentarily. Just some news today. Lang Wiseman made the watch list now for the Oscar Robertson Award.
James Wiseman.
Yes. What did I say?
You said Lang, former Tennessee three-point shooter.
And then, he went and got his law degree at Harvard.
I do.
Really smart guy. I'm not sure if he's in the political scene now. No, he's definitely in the legal scene. Yes, James Wiseman. Do you realize that's the 7th list now that he has made? 7th list.
Pretty good for a guy who's played in, 4 games?
Exactly.
Wait till he plays.
Wait till he plays. We'll wait till January 12th. And Brady White, he made the Manning finalist list, top 12. Pretty good for a guy who can't even be first-team all-conference. Although, in fairness, I got to admit here, Malcolm Perry, who is also on the first-team all-conference, he made the final 12.
Manning
here.
list narrowed down to a dozen. Is that right?
Yeah, Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Everybody's playing for
Justin
second,
Fields, Fromm, all those guys are in that. But
it's the Joe Burrow world.
At least he made it there. But I still can't get over that Brady White wasn't first team. And Shane Buechele didn't make that, so I don't know how in the world that all came out.
Our next guest got a lot of insight on the Joe Burrow world. And last week, Joe Burrow really played to the hometown fans with the Cajun spelling, with the French spelling of Burrow. Mike Detillier, he has that French spelling as well. He joins us now. You can follow him on Twitter at Mike Detillier. He's with WWL in New Orleans, covering the Saints and covering LSU. And, Mike, what a ride it's been this year covering those two teams. You could win it all in college and in pro this year, covering those Saints and Tigers.
Yeah, it's, I've done this 34 years for me. I had this same ride in 2011. LSU was undefeated, get beat in the national championship game by Alabama, and then the Saints roll this through and get beat in one of the craziest games I've ever seen, and the 49ers over there on the coast, where the lead changed hands 4 times in the last 3 minutes and 58 seconds of the game. So, yeah, it's been a wild ride. And but you know what? I give Coach O a lot of credit. We did a couple of Tiger tours this summer, and told me, said, well, T-Boy, I'm telling you, we got a shot this year. We got a shot. We just get a break or two health. We got a shot. We can get there. And sure enough, he's there. And they have sights set on bigger game. Put it to you that way. They want to win the SEC championship game. There ain't no question about it. It's been a long time here, but Ed's got his sights and his team set on the bigger game. Got 2 more after this.
If you could compare, because this is a undefeated team with a whole lot of offense, can you compare this to that 11 team you were talking about, the Les Miles team, or even the Nick Saban team that was a national champion,
or Les Miles national champion?
Or either any of them? That's where I'm going. Which is the
Mock
best
Flynn
team you've seen using all phases?
This team's the best offensive team I've ever seen at LSU, and the records prove it. First time I saw this in the spring, I knew they were going to be pretty good, but I could have never imagined they would have put up these type numbers. To be honest, I thought their defense would be much better than what it is, and it's been erratic all year long. We've seen a quarter of play, a half play. Last week was the first full game, and talking to Ed, he had always told me, hey, listen, I don't know when it's going to happen, but we're going to kick in on defense. And he said, we just got too damn much talent not to. And sure enough, it kicked in last week. And so let's see if that reoccurs against Georgia. But this is the best offensive team I have ever seen at LSU.
Mike, in all the years of covering LSU and growing up loving them like I know you did, somebody someday was going to join Billy Cannon as the second Heisman Trophy winner at LSU. Did you ever?
I never would have thought it was Joe.
Did you ever think it'd be a kid from Southern Ohio?
No way. I thought Fournette might be the guy.
I did
because,
too.
Man, talent-wise, he was something special. But that didn't work. And even Tyrann Mathieu, on defensive side of the football, he tilted the field and also in the special teams as a return man. But last summer, I went, and this is the second or third practice of the year, and I was talking to Coach about Miles Brennan. And he said, Mike, I got my quarterback. And he said, it's Joe. And he said, he's Peyton Manning smart. And he said, but who he reminds me most of is Bobby Hebert. He said he's tough, he's fearless, he'll hang in the pocket until the last second to make a throw, and he can make all the NFL throws. And said, man, but I love his toughness. He said, man, he's just like Bobby. If you're in a fight, you want him on your side.
Quite a compliment.
And sure enough, you see his mental and his physical toughness. Man, listen, he don't do no sliding. I mean, he's out there, he's taking people on.
And he
I
showed
don't know
it
how
against...
good that is for his health. But he's improved as a passer. Yeah. Steve worked with him in the off season quite a bit, and he's physically gotten stronger. One of the things last year that gets overlooked today is they were one of the leaders in drop passes. And people always bring up, well, Joe didn't throw the football that well last year. Look at his completion percentage. Well, genius, if you looked at the games, you saw, that was 3 or 4 drops almost every game for him. And it hasn't been that way this year. Joe Brady's really done a great job working with the receivers and getting them to catch the football cleanly. And that's something he brought up in the spring, and he's really worked on it with all the receivers, tight ends, backs. Catch the ball. Don't worry about after the catch. Once you get it and you got it secured, then you worry about it. But, if you were just looking at numbers, you were saying, man, look at the big jump. But if you looked also at the drops and you covered LSU, you saw the receivers didn't help him a lot last year. But this offense is special in the way they can get at it. And they hit you with the tsunami in the first half. They've outscored opponents 331 to 111 in the first half of games.
Man, 3-1. That's impressive.
Man, you wailing at
Game
that
over,
point, so to speak.
Since you mentioned Brady, talk to me about this young guy, this guy that came from the Saints as a passing coordinator, because if Mike Norvell were to leave the University of Memphis, his name has come up as a guy that might be a replacement. I know he's young, but tell me about him.
He laughs about it because in one of the games this year, he has a little ritual. He walks the field and he tosses the football up and he catches it in his suit. Walked and touched it. And I just so happened to be pretty quick about it, and I tried to bat it out of his hands, and he was laughing. And he told me, he said, Mike, just look at where I am today. A year ago, nobody even knew I was with the Saints. I was an assistant. And he said, you and Bobby gave me all kind of hell because, we'd see him after practice. He'd be walking in, and we'd tell him, hey, man, listen, Sean needs his car washed, or how far it is, to the next Popeye's fried chicken.
Right.
I mean, he was sort of a gopher for different things. But, he was a quick learner. And, if you work for Peyton, man, you're not going in there at 8 o'clock in the morning and knock it off at 6:30. I mean, you're there at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and you work until 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
How big is the Sean Payton coaching tree going to be when it's all said and done?
Pretty big. Man, Sean understands offense so well. But one of the things Joe brought up to me is like, Mike, I think this offense will really work. And the reason why is we're going to do it at a pace that you can't do it at the NFL level. They don't let you do it. The officials almost sort of slow you down. But he said they don't in college football. And he said, man, we had talked about Chip Kelly because we both went to the same coaching clinic a few years back, and Chip brought up, listen, I keep you on the field 75 plays in a game, I got 4 touchdowns. I keep you 80 plays, I got 5. I keep you 85, I got 6. And I'm going to wear you out. And Chip was right about this. Biggest difference I see in the game today is when I first started, lack of depth on defense. Ain't got it. And big-time edge pass rushers, man, when you got one, you got gold because you don't see that often in today's college game. And Joe, what his thought was, I sort of catch you out of breath, running these plays so fast that I catch you out of breath and you can't substitute. I get up to the line of scrimmage, we call a play, bang, and we run it. And you can't substitute. And I catch you in quick flash fashion. And he nailed that part of it. And no one's really been able to slow that down much. And every week I hear, you do shows when they played Florida. Well, they ain't played Florida's defense yet. When they played Alabama, well, they ain't played Nick Saban and Alabama's defense yet. Well, they ain't played Texas A&M and Aggies yet. Auburn was the only team that had a little bit of a speed bump during the year. But everybody else, they just roll that through. And they hit you, again, with that offensive tsunami that almost like a boxer. Okay, I'm going up against the champ. Man, I fought in the ring with tougher guys than that until you get hit. And then it's like, we ain't got nothing, we ain't seen nothing like this. And one of the things Ed brought up was we want to still be a power-running football team with this. And over the last 5 or 6 weeks, the emergence of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's all of 5'6". He's about 205 pounds. And I told him, I said, it's almost like he was a 6'1" running back that they put in a press, and they squeezed him down. And, he's all muscle. And he is a tough little guy.
He sure is.
And he's got some burst to him. Catches the ball real well coming out of the backfield. He's sort of a combination Dalton Hilliard when he was at LSU and Maurice Jones-Drew at UCLA. They're similar builds to both of them. And, man, he has been money. And all I know is for a guy who was a 3-star recruit, he got 2 5-star recruits watching from the bench.
That's always impressive. Just last thing, is Joe Brady ready to be a head football coach in Division I NCAA, FBS?
I would be surprised if he got one in 2020. I think he'll be ready in 2021. But I'd be a little bit surprised if he landed a head coaching job in 2020 because I think a lot of athletic directors are, okay, he did it at LSU, but he did it with Burrow. Let me see him do it with someone else. And I know one thing, he is some impressive guy. I mean, he's just not the temp anymore. Because, we used to tease him about, what times they give you to come in and go out now. And, we would razz him about it. But he's got a certain specialty, and he knows how to coach offenses so well. So I think he's probably got 1 year at LSU again in 2020. And then he is going to have some open field running for a head coaching job in 2021.
Saints on Sunday host the 49ers, and winner of that game, or even the loser, could be a Super Bowl team from the NFC.
Yeah, it's going to be old-fashioned football. And, while we talk about the offenses in college football, look at the teams and how they're winning today in the pros. If it's Baltimore or New England or the Saints and San Francisco, they're winning it old-fashioned, aren't they? They play great
Running
defense. They run the football. Special teams are there. And so, it's kind of throwback football a little bit. It's not all about the pitch and catch part of the game. And now you got two teams built similar. Two teams that want to run the football. They use the short passing game a lot. They've used a lot of early draft choices on offensive, defensive linemen. 49ers have 5 former first-round picks. The Saints got 4. So I think today, when you look at it, it's the team that can play in their lane of traffic and not get thrown out. And, again, I think the team who runs the football best wins it in this contest. I want to see how San Francisco handles this. As a team, they have never walked down this football aisle before as being a really good football team with a little bit of pressure on you to play well, and you're in an opposing stadium. This is back-to-back weeks now, and travel on the road, how they handle that. Now, as an organization, they've won in the past, but this is a team that's picked, in the top 3 or 4 of 4 out of the last 5 years? They haven't experienced any of this. Saints have. They've been through this. And Sean's brought up during the week that, hey, this is December. You know, it's playoff games every week for seeding and whatever else you want to look at. They've done this before. I'm interested to see how well the 49ers handle that this coming Sunday. But two teams built very similar, but I'll take the team that got Drew Brees.
I'm with you.
And in that dome, I do too.
And in that dome, and he hasn't slowed down either. You know, we've talked a lot about how his total fastball is not all the way gone, but Tom Brady does not look like the guy we saw even at the end of last year in the Super Bowl. He is just sort of eroding before our very eyes. I know Drew Brees got hurt earlier in the year, but since he's come back, the guy has looked like he's lost nothing.
When you watch him in practice, the ball doesn't touch the turf sometimes. You almost amaze when he misfires. And we've become spoiled a little bit of Drew. You know, people, we need another quarterback. Well, eventually that's going to happen. Eventually, Father Time, he's undefeated and untied for a reason. And he's going to catch up with Drew. But you think about, he's doing this with a one-man receiving corps. Because, you know, if you got to count on Ted Ginn Jr. and Traquan Smith, now Jared Cook was supposed to be a big-time player here, and he's flashed you, but, man, he had 3 drops last week against Atlanta. But, man, they got a stud in Michael Thomas.
Sure do.
And, you know, I'm watching this game, and there are a few guys like him. You know they're going to throw the football to him, and he sort of sticks you the football middle finger and say, okay, stop me. He's crafty. He knows how to work his way around defensive backs and set them up and get separation. He's a big physical end. He moves the chains. And if you disrespect him a little bit with his speed, he runs right by you. It's a marvelous combination to watch. They're on the same kind of wavelength. When Drew gets in trouble, you know, Mike like flashes from nowhere. And then all of a sudden he's in the sights of Breeze and he makes the catch. It's amazing to watch what he can do. And he's a star player. But I think this week is going to be a Taysom Hill week. I think you're going to see a lot of Taysom Hill this week against the 49ers. They saw that Lamar, you know, he had some success running the football against him. And as long as Sean is patient running the football, the Saints are going to win this game. Now, if they get impatient and start whipping it around, that plays right into the hands of that very athletic and very aggressive 49er defensive front.
Well, man, you've got 2 great games.
Enjoy
that you
the
are
weekend.
Going to watch and be involved in, and you should have a great time.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Y'all take care.
You too. Mike Detillier from WWL down in New Orleans. This portion of the show, in fact, this hour of the program is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai and Homer Skelton Genesis. Actually, it's Genesis of Olive Branch. And I got to tell you, I'm trying not to brag too much, but I show people this car, and they go, whoa, can I see what it feels like? Take them for a little ride. They can't get over the ride. They cannot get over the smoothness, the way this car handles, the way this car picks up. It's amazing. This is Genesis. This is the best luxury car now on the road, in my opinion. I'd like for you to try it. Go see Chris True. Tell him you want to try a Genesis. You'll love what you see. You'll love the way they do business there, too. This is the way car business should be done. It is the perfect marriage of this technology, not just my Genesis, but also the Hyundais and like the Santa Fe. You can't get a better SUV than Santa Fe. They all get 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranties. And then when you take into account the shopper assurance that you get at Homer Skelton Hyundai or part of the Genesis experience of Olive Branch, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Just get on Lamar, take it to Mississippi, you turn left at Craft Road. There you are. That's the way car business should be done. The perfect marriage at Homer, Skelton Hyundai, and Genesis of Olive Branch.
There's not anything Burrow could do tomorrow to cost him the Heisman, is it?
Well, if he threw 5 interceptions and Georgia took 3 of them back and Georgia wiped up LSU, yeah. But,
and at the same time,
and at the same time, Justin Fields or Dobbins or Chase Young are going crazy, and Ohio State's beating the heck out of Wisconsin.
Now,
I can tell you right now.
You answered it. Now, that was an extreme example, but I'm with you that, yeah, there's still something he could do.
Well, I'm not voting until Sunday. No, we're supposed to vote by Monday at 5 o'clock.
I'm waiting until I see championship Saturday.
I'm voting Sunday.
But if he goes out and has a good game, they win. He's going to win the Heisman. And Mike mentioned Leonard Fournette. I think a lot of people thought he was Heisman worthy. As a college player, I know everybody just remembers
he was hurt.
The bust with the Raiders. But Jamarcus Russell was a great college quarterback.
He was. I agree with you. But he was that's one of the biggest disconnects I've ever seen. A guy went pro, I guess he gained weight. I don't know what he did, or he didn't want to play. That's the worst I've ever seen of a guy. I know Ryan Leaf had some bad outings, but Ryan Leaf at least had a couple of years that were decent. This guy was never had
a game.
Good. And Leonard Fournette, he was such a great college runner, and I think he would be a good pro runner. He just can't stay healthy. And guess what? He cost himself a lot of college games because he was
There have been
injured.
a couple of LSU running backs that I thought could be Heisman candidates while they were. Charles Alexander was a great college player and was on the cover of Sports Illustrated for the preseason edition. And Cecil Collins, it was so short-lived, and he had such trouble that he couldn't stay on the field. But LSU quarterbacks, Burt Jones, Jamarcus Russell, maybe David Woodley, there hadn't been many prospects. And Joe Burrow wasn't on opening day.
Oh, no. No. Joe Burrow's earned this because he was not, I always used to love the line that John Calipari would talk about with great players or whatever they'd say. He'd say they were born on third base, right? Joe Burrow was born in the dugout. He had to go He had to go to the on-deck circle, then he had to go to the plate, then he had to go to first, second, and third. He earned it.
His dad played as a freshman and sophomore at Ole Miss before transferring to Nebraska in the 70s. I think his dad was from Amory.
Oh, and, look, let's face it, this kid has overcome failure. I mean, when you transfer from a school, you've just basically said, I'm not good enough to play here, so I'm going to try.
Something's not right.
I'm going to try to go find a place where
he thought he was better than Haskins and was irritated that he didn't get his shot.
Haskins had a pretty good career, but in the long run, it's not going to be as good as this 1 year that Burrow had at LSU. Those numbers are amazing. I went over them today, just trying to figure out our picks for an hour from now, basically, and I looked at every one of those. Their scores as opposed to what Georgia's scores were against different teams and everything else.
Close.
It's phenomenal. The only, as Mike DeTillia just said, the only close game they really had was the Auburn game.
Now, Georgia wants it to be a defensive game and work on the clock and keep the ball control, time of possession, keep away. That's the only way Georgia can pull the upset, and that's the only way Georgia can get in the college football playoff.
I agree. We take the break. When we come back, we'll say goodbye for the year to our friend who, by the way, have you seen he's been doing podcasts now for Daily Memphian, I think it was? Glenn Rogers Jr. in the house. One last time. He's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system tuned up? Did you know your heating system can lose up to 5% efficiency every year it skips a tune-up? Why compromise your family's comfort? Good news, it's heating system tune-up time at Conway Services. Schedule your heating system tune-up today for just $57. Not only will you save big, but we'll also include a Google Home Mini absolutely free while supplies last. That's right, get Conway Services 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-up on your heating system for only $57 and get a Google Home Mini absolutely free. The experts at Conway Services will make sure your heating system is ready for those cold winter nights, all for only $57, and we'll include a Google Home Mini absolutely free. Why trust your comfort to anyone else? Stay warm and stay connected. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Bria's Fashion Boutique is the worst. First, they asked me if I needed help finding anything. Just because I'm gorgeous doesn't mean I need help.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then they tell me they're having a sale. Oh, so you're assuming I'm poor. Cool.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Also, they tried to give me the friends and family discount. I'm not your friend, so...
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
There's a new commissary in town. In Collierville, Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
It's that time of year. Come join us at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, Thursday, December 12th, all day, 7 to 6. We're raising money and, most importantly, bringing toys for Mid-South Toys for Tots. Help the boys and girls of the Mid-South have a happy holiday. You can do it. Bring those new unwrapped toys, checks, cash. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, Thursday, December 12th, 7 to 6. Sponsored by Envy Nail Bar, Gateway Tire, David C. Nanny CPA, and Hempville, South Haven, and Oxford.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Coming up in just a little bit, after we say so long to our good friend, it's hard to believe. Another season's in the books. Glenn Rogers Jr. going to join us. We've got a commissary question coming your way for a six-pack of Germantown Commissary. We'll do this on the way out from Glenn, but I always am sad when this day comes. That means we're saying goodbye to high school football. We really are, and the last of the hopefuls for all of this area, it was ECS. What a great year they had, and they won a state championship. They beat the same team twice. The second time, that team was much improved, but they did prevail, and they bring home the gold ball. That's the only one. So, Glenn, I guess my first question for you is: was this just a down year in Shelby County in the area?
Well, good afternoon, Dave, your Stats, and all our listeners. I don't think necessarily it was a down year. Whitehaven lost to Houston, which is a good team, and then Houston lost the week after that. We lose the NBA. Briarcrest loses to a good Ainsworth team, and so sometimes, we both Briarcrest and us had home games, and we were both probably slightly favored in both of those games. It's just unfortunate we both lost. And then, Whitehaven, I'm sure nobody saw Whitehaven going out to Houston getting beat the way they did. And so, and then Houston goes up the road the week after that and loses. So I don't think it's a down year. I think it's a year that, we all of us drew some tough draws, and we got beat by some real good ball clubs. And, and then hats off to Trey Adams and Scott Vogel at ECS going in last night, watched the game, and outstanding job of getting the victory off, and at least somebody's bringing home a gold ball back to Shelby County.
Is there any way that the TSSAA will ever believe in fair play and move things around? In other words, for a Memphis team, and fortunately ECS did win, but for a Memphis team to have to go all the way to Cookeville after having traveled a whole bunch throughout the year anyway, just if it would rotate from East Tennessee to Middle Tennessee to West Tennessee, every third year you'd have a championship. It shouldn't be where you got to go that far every time, and yet that's what they do. It's either in Middle Tennessee or East Tennessee for all these championships. It seems to me a real bias for this part of the state.
Yeah, it is. And I've disagreed with it. I don't. I'm like you, Dave and Stats. I don't like it. I think it should rotate around to give every part of the region a chance to see these young men, and even with the basketball, these young men and women play. And for the football game to be way out in Cookeville, I drive through it all the time because my wife is from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And so I pass through Cookeville a bunch. And it's so far off the beaten path for guys here in West Tennessee. I mean, you look at the crowd yesterday with ECS, there was a lot of their faithful.
And on a Thursday.
Yeah, they probably took student buses up. But just imagine that game was either in Nashville or here in our city. Mm-hmm. A lot more people have been there. And, it's just unfortunate that the TSSAA doesn't look broadband-wise to see why don't we move this thing around?
Arkansas does everything over 2 weekends at War Memorial. Mississippi, they rotated from Hattiesburg, where they are this weekend at Southern Miss, to Oxford and to Starkville.
Yep. And so, I think to me, rotating around gives every fan in different regions a chance to see these kids and see what they, see what these kids are showcasing.
I think Texas brings everybody to Jerry's World, and I think New Orleans brings everybody to the
Superdome. Yeah, they do. And so, and to me, you look at both of those sites, two tremendous sites.
Yeah, I don't think Cookeville is not that. It ain't Jerry's World, buddy.
Yeah.
Keep it real.
So why not bring it to the Nissan Stadium up in Nashville, or bring it here to the Liberty Bowl?
Exactly, Glenn, and try it. Bid it out, but fair in TSSAA, Dave. You've been fighting with them.
Well, no, and there is truly, even in the way they vote, in their polls and everything else, there is just a bias for Middle and East Tennessee.
It is.
The number of teams that they put in these polls. Fortunately, that does not dictate how the season ends because they actually play the games here. It's not just subjective. You've got to win a game.
Absolutely.
And that's the way it worked out this year. Your biggest surprise, is it the success of Houston finally dethroning a team like Whitehaven, which has just been so strong every year?
Absolutely. I think the coaching staff at Houston, along with all those good players they have, tremendous job, tremendous season. Probably the deepest they've been in the playoffs. I won't say it probably ever. But like you said, knocking off a team like Whitehaven, it's got to be a tremendous feat.
Win.
A tremendous feat for their coaching staff and those kids in the school. Because Whitehaven is the measuring stick for probably a lot of people in town, for probably everybody. Us in Whitehaven, Christian brothers, all of us are measuring sticks. And so for a team like Houston to get that win like that's a big deal. And hats off to them. And I'll tell you another surprise to me this year, Dave, was Bartlett. Bartlett did outstanding job.
New stadium,
got off to a real good start. Now, hats off to Tim Jones, my former teammate.
Mm-hmm.
New coach, guy coming in from Alabama. They did an outstanding job. I kind of watched and followed them all year. Did an amazing job, made the playoffs. So that was another surprise for me.
We should point out Tim Jones is the principal.
Yeah, Tim's the principal. Yeah.
That hired a football coach who came from Alabama.
Exactly.
And somebody, I want to say that the guy that he hired,
his dad
played for his dad, who was a high school football coach in Alabama. That's a great story in its own right.
Yeah.
And Tim Jones, about as tough a guy. There was an Alabama game, and I think he lost his whole mouth and teeth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took a big
He did
shot.
take a big, yeah.
But tough.
Now
you talk about a tough guy. Ooh.
One of the toughest guys I've ever played with.
The night before, pregame meal in those days was steak. For the next 6 weeks after that game, for him, it was soup.
Exactly.
And Jell-O.
Tim was pretty beat up. Yeah, he was pretty beat up.
Players that you saw this year, give me your top 3 or 4.
Without a doubt, Marcus Henderson, our big tackle, who's still being heavily recruited. Omari Thomas from Briarcrest, been very impressive. Jabari Smalls from Briarcrest.
Yep. Take your pick at Whitehaven.
either one of those three guys at Whitehaven. And Lincoln
The
Riley,
linebackers?
yeah, all the linebackers at Whitehaven.
That are all going to Tennessee.
And the running back at Houston. We
That's what I'm
talked a
saying.
lot
Lincoln
about
Riley, yeah.
Lincoln Perry.
Lincoln Perry, I mean.
And we talked about all year, and it's spelled P-A-R-E, but pronounced Perry, right?
Perry, yeah.
And I think some offers are starting to roll in for him,
absolutely.
even some SEC, and no more of this invited walk-on stuff. But
the kid can play.
Well, I think he had a chance to go to a military school. Like Navy or Army.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of options out there if he wants.
Well, it's well deserved too.
Would you offer him at the University of Memphis?
Probably wouldn't because of the backs that Memphis has. The running back situation.
That's fair. They're loaded.
They're loaded. But if I'm any other school that's thin at running back, I'm talking about any schools around here. I'm talking about SEC.
So is he good enough to play at Arkansas?
I think he is.
Good enough to play at Ole Miss then?
I think he is, yeah. I mean, you look at Arkansas with the backs they have. Chase Hayden's at Arkansas. He's been banged up but hadn't played. But, I mean, I think he's good enough to play.
I don't think Lane Kiffin's going to get in I formation. We get in I formation with John Rice Plumlee and Lincoln Perry.
There you go. Hey, I think the kid can play Stats and Dave in any
What is astounding is he just made this remark, okay? And it's not me making this remark. This is Glenn Rogers Jr., who just said Lincoln Perry probably shouldn't go to Memphis because they are too loaded at running back, but he should go to Ole Miss or to Arkansas.
Yeah,
now,
true.
10 years ago, would we have ever made that comment?
Well, we had D'Angelo then, so I don't know. But I'm telling you, Dave, hats off to Mike Norvell and his staff. I go out and watch a lot of practices. And they've done a tremendous job. And to me, I'm giving Larry some credit because he recruited good players.
He did.
He just didn't put it all together on the field. But Justin inherited a bunch of good players from Larry, and Justin got it done on the field. And then Mike Norvell has just picked it up from there and ran with it. And, you look at our running back situation and with skills, receivers and DBs and linebackers. We're loaded at all those, especially at running back.
But you got to give Mike and Justin credit for that.
Absolutely,
there's not a guy from Larry Porter's era.
No, I know, but I'm saying, Justin inherited some of Larry guys. But I'm saying, Justin got him coached up, did an amazing job.
He changed the culture.
Exactly, he did.
If you want to identify the guy that turned it around,
Justin
and
Fuente.
He did use a couple of Porter's players, no question.
Yeah.
But it's Justin Fuente, and then honestly, Mike took it to another level. And the other great aspect of this is that Mike had great recruiting classes.
Absolutely.
The last 3 years.
Absolutely.
Great recruiting classes.
Yeah.
Better than Fuente's recruiting classes.
Did.
So we are stacked and loaded for this next few years.
Yeah, the cover is definitely not bare.
Whether or not the leader is still here, you got to find another leader.
Yeah.
If that is the case.
And hats off to the coaches. I mean, Mike has had coaches in here that's been really doing an amazing job of hitting these cities and these high schools and talking to kids, talking to coaches. Hats off to the assistant guys who's doing a lot of leg work as well.
He has, and the chance tomorrow to win 12 games and then own 13 wins.
Amazing. That's amazing. I thought I'd never see this, the Tiger team doing this well. You just said it, Stats. We got a chance to win 12 ball games in 1 year. I know since I've been living.
Got a chance to win 13 now.
13 with the bowl game. I know since I've been alive, I'm only 50. I've never seen the Tigers win that many games. And so, the coaches was at my house last night visiting with our DB, Devontae Nelson, Coach Fuller, and Coach T.J. Rushing, and Coach Jones. And, it's to me, this is one of the proudest moments in my life to be proud to say I'm a Tiger because we're doing some amazing things. We've been on national TV 4 times this year, and then with the game day experience, and then we're going to be on national TV again, and hopefully we win tomorrow night. When we win, we'll be on there again for the Cosmos.
Does that crack through in Shelby County recruiting?
Absolutely should. A lot of these guys are undecided still. Mari Thomas still undecided. Marcus Henderson. He still got a lot of guys.
Because he decommitted.
Yeah, and you got and Jabari Smalls. When Matt Luke got let go, he put his recruiting back out there. So there's still a lot of guys up in there. There's still a lot of guys to be taken.
So do you think those guys, like the 3 kids from Whitehaven, I don't think they even looked at the University of Memphis.
Well, 2 of them are visiting next week. 2 of them are visiting Memphis next week.
Despite the fact that they've committed to Tennessee?
2 of them are visiting next week. And so
you know what commitment means these days.
It doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it used to mean everything.
Until you sign.
Yeah, and I think part of that, Stats and Dave, you tell me if I'm maybe right or wrong. I think a lot of this stuff with these kids have all revolved around the coaches. And what I mean by that, these coaches moving around so much. Well,
that's who they're going to play for.
Yeah, you look at the movement and you think, a commitment used to be a commitment, but to me it started from these college coaches moving so quickly.
Mm-hmm. Break down for me what you think will happen tomorrow, then we'll ask you what you foresee for the 2020 high school season. But since we're on the Tiger subject right now, pretty tough to beat a team 2 weeks in a row, especially when they're pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Although I do think Memphis is the better team. I think they're the faster team for sure. We'll have a little different quarterback for Cincinnati. How do you think this game plays out?
Well, I think Luke Fickell, the coach at Cincinnati, has done an amazing job adjusting. Lost his starting quarterback. I thought that guy last week when we played him did an amazing job.
Mm-hmm.
Gave themselves a chance to win. Their defense stepped up. But I thought we had a little bit more firepower than they did, and it showed. Big play on the first play of the game with Clay Brooks. And, what I tell you what surprised me, Dave, in that game last week is the amount of times they stopped us. So it tells you Luke Fickell has a plan defensively for us. I think tomorrow night, special teams is going to be a key. That special teams play last week really helped us to stay afloat in that game. And, it came down, when you look at the score, that special teams touchdown, you take that away, it's very tight ball game still. And so I think special teams is going to be a key. And which defense is going to get stops tomorrow? We did enough last week to get them stopped. But they're going to have a plan. They're going to have a plan in place. The Cincinnati is a well-coached ball club. I think tomorrow night is going to be a shootout, but which defense is going to get the 2 or 3 key stops is going to take the win to win this game? Somebody's going to have to make a big play on special teams.
Yeah, and by the way, they're very good at blocking kicks.
Exactly.
So, believe me, Memphis is very, very well aware of that. All right, who's going to be good next year in Shelby County? You identified right at the very beginning this year that Briarcrest was going to be great. You said it could be their best team in their history.
Close.
I don't know that you knew ECS would make this jump that they did, but they did. And I got to give Braxton Brady, who took over that school just last year. This was his first season. Man, he has changed the culture of the school, and they got their first title in a long time. So fifth title overall, but I think it was the first time since 2005. And that was Jimmy Hines' team.
Yeah, Coach Hines.
That's a long, long time ago.
14 years ago.
But they got that. So who are going to be the guys next year that we need to take a look at?
Well, I think, you said it right there off the bat. ECS, they got a young team. They got a lot of guys coming back. They lose some seniors, but the bulk of their good players are back. Jalen Greenwood, the tailback, he's a home run hitter. Then you look at, Whitehaven's going to always be loaded with talent. They're not going to drop off any. I think you'll see a much improved Christian Brothers team. They'll be better.
This was kind of a down year for them.
They 5 losses. I don't remember the last time Christian Brothers had 5 losses. It's been a real long time, and I'm sure Coach McDaniel's really heard that a bunch from the fan base and the powers that be. So I think he'll come back better than he was this past year. A year for us. We two losses for us to the same team. So we've learned from that, and hopefully we're going to be better from that as well. Because NBA is a well-coached ball club, but I didn't think we, that second time around, I thought we learned.
Had 8 turnovers in the 2 games.
8 turnovers
right?
in the 2 games, 5 the playoff game, and so I think we learned a few things. And that we got one of our quarterbacks coming back, Edwin Shy, and then most of our defensive guys are back. DJ Brown, our linebacker, and then I think you're going to still hear some noise from Bartlett and Houston. I think Houston, I think they had some guys in place for Lincoln, with the tailback Lincoln Perry. So I think Houston is shown that they have arrived.
What about these new schools that have built these new beautiful campuses and stadiums? Collierville in particular, and Arlington too.
Bartlett
Bartlett. I think you already mentioned Bartlett though. But where do Collierville, where do Arlington stand?
I think Joe
got big population bases.
I think Joe Riccone, anytime you got 4,000 or 5,000 students, there's a chance for the football program and all sports to be good. And so I think there's some pressure on Joe, him being back at home to be successful. Arlington is in the same boat. They're going to be under some steam to be good, and so is Bartlett. They were surprised this year. They're not going to surprise anybody next year. People are going to be ready for them, but I think Bartlett, you got a good mixture of good teams next year, Dave and Stats, to make some noise and bring a couple more gold balls home next year.
It'll be August before you know it.
It sure will. It happens fast.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, buddy.
As always, we appreciate it.
Yeah, go Tigers, go. Good luck tomorrow with Coach Novell and the staff.
That'll be a lot of fun. I don't know if it'll be a lot of fun afterwards, but it'll be a lot of fun going into it. That is for sure.
I definitely will. Thank you.
This portion of the show Brought to you by the good folks at Eflin Insurance. That group is so good at what they do. You can call them at 757-2315. You know about Matt's story. He's been involved in insurance for about 20 years, right out of school, right into the market. He's been working in this market basically his whole working life. And he specializes in all type of insurance needs. It could be personal insurance or business. He does do both. Not a lot of people do, but he does. And he's got a very, very unique one-on-one approach. It evaluates each individual needs. If it's personal insurance, he sits down with your family. You talk about what your future would be, where you think you really have to be protective. He finds the right products. You feel secure. Same thing with business. How does it forecast out? What do you really need? Where do you think your business will be in 10 years? He finds the right products. Again, you're safe. If you would like that kind of service, call 757-2315. You'll get a quote. He'll come and he'll talk with you and evaluate your needs and help you. 757-2315. That's the number for the Eflin Insurance Group.
You ready for the Germantown Commissary Big Q of the day?
I think I know the answer.
Or the Collierville Commissary. 360-8255, all on the phones, 360-8255. Line up now at the First Bank phone line. Tigers in Cincinnati tomorrow at the Liberty Bowl to end this long season. It started week 1 with Cincinnati defeating who? And who did Memphis beat on opening day?
That's it? You just got to know?
That's it. Who did Memphis beat opening day? Who did Cincinnati beat opening day? 360-8255 to win a 6-pack at the Germantown or Collierville Commissary.
If you know that answer, you'll be happy. Back in a minute with all your calls. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Bria's Fashion Boutique is the worst. First, they asked me if I needed help finding anything. Just because I'm gorgeous doesn't mean I need help.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then they tell me they're having a sale. Oh, so you're assuming I'm poor. Cool.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial auto and business insurance.
Also, they tried to give me the friends and family discount. I'm not your friend, so...
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Your nationally ranked Memphis Tigers are playing host to Cincinnati in the American Athletic Conference Football Championship game on Saturday at 2:30 p.m. This is the third straight championship game appearance for the Tigers, but this time it's at home. Tickets start at just $20 and are available now at GoTigersGo.com or by calling 901-678-2331. Memphis versus Cincinnati on Saturday, December 7th at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Be there and help the Tigers win the AAC Championship and a trip to the Cotton Bowl.
Stripe up. Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
I almost never go to Central Barbecue without running into somebody I know.
That could be because you only eat at Central Barbecue.
It's because Central Barbecue is where Memphians go to get barbecue and has consistently been voted the most popular barbecue restaurant among locals.
Actually, that's really saying something.
I know. Memphis is the nation's capital of barbecue. With all the choices, people who live here go to Central Barbecue.
They do get their share of tourists.
Sure, because Central Barbecue has been mentioned on TV and in tons of national publications. You know why?
Because of the great food?
Because those TV shows and magazines look for the place where the locals go, and that, my friend, is Central Barbecue.
It Chapter 2, Pennywise is back. Tune in to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3, for a chance to win It Chapter 2. The Losers Club reunites after 3 decades to face their deepest fears again in It Chapter 2 and destroy Pennywise once and for all. It Chapter 2. Win the digital movie now with Johnny Radio on Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1 FM.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. always feel like home when I hear Chicago. Nobody's going to be silent here. Everybody has the answer. Sam's going to be up first at 360-8255 on the First Bank phone line. Your answer, the stats is actually, since I've come on board, I think I've changed you. I've made you nicer. Because your questions when you were with Rob, they were always so hard. And you've just made such an easy question here.
This is so easy.
This is, who did Memphis win in their very first game this year? Who did Cincinnati win
Nobody's
in their
gonna
very
miss one
first
half
game
of
this
it,
year?
are they?
And I got to tell you, they were big wins, important wins for both teams. And, of course, the winner with the right answer gets a six-pack from either the Germantown or the Collierville Commissary. Sam, you get to go first. Your turn. Go ahead.
Hello, gentlemen. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Well, I believe Memphis beat Ole Miss
That is correct.
because I was there. And if I recall, I think Cincinnati beat UCLA.
That is
Thursday
correct.
night,
Beat
on
'em-
opening night.
Beat them handily.
Well, really, it was the second
Yes,
night
they
because
did.
Miami
Yeah.
and Florida played that week,
Played the
that
first
Saturday
night.
before. But, yeah, but
Right.
on Thursday night, two big wins for the American, and now look at them now. Sam, you going tomorrow?
Yep, I'll be there.
Well, Sam, you'll be there with a six-pack of barbecue from the Germantown Commissary. You can't get it until Monday, okay?
That'll work.
All right, let me put you on hold, Sam. Congratulations. I think it's going to be dry tomorrow. I think you're going to be okay. We're all going to enjoy that game a whole lot. We thank all those who made calls and did not get in. Sam is our winner, so he gets the six-pack of Germantown or Collierville Commissary barbecue. By the way, I should remind everybody, we're talking Big Bird again for Christmas, or the ham.
Big 36-hour bird.
Either way you want to go, that 36-hour bird, I believe, Brett, you can be a witness here, a tribute. It is about as good a bird as you can have. That turkey is incredible. Now, I can tell you Walker Taylor has the same sort of unique, incredible recipe, and that goes for the ham as well. So, and if you didn't ever try it, please, it makes your holiday. You get all the praise for one great, tasty bird or ham, and your folks love it, and they think you did it. Well, you can be honest, but, man, you don't have to do the work, and everybody ends up happy. All you got to do is put in the call either Germantown or Collierville Commissary. Christmas is, still got a little bit, but Christmas is coming quicker than you think. You want the bird for sure, or you want the ham. And go and enjoy. And don't forget, it's really easy now with the new one in Collierville because it's 3 times the size of the original. It's got a drive-through and everything else. We love our commissary.
Tomorrow, Tigers and UAB in basketball. Good opportunity to win 2 tomorrow.
Well, is this the third or the fourth time this has happened? I think it's the third. And the other 2 were sweeps. They were wins both ways. And, frankly, their Tigers are favored in both the events.
What's the basketball number? I haven't seen it.
I've not seen it, but
they will be favored.
I know they'll be favored. Yeah, I hate it this time of year. This is what you get, especially if you keep going with championship games and bowl games.
A lot of conflicts.
You end up losing a lot of basketball games to watch. But in this particular case, and I'm really sad.
Whoa,
because I love going to Birmingham.
Yeah.
What's the line?
What do you think it is?
It's big. They have hold on. They have trouble scoring. I'm going to say it's 14.
7.
Oh,
that's pretty big though for a road favorite.
Well, it's. I thought it would be more.
You're right. They average 62 points a game.
Yeah, they have trouble scoring.
Tigers averaging 84.
Memphis though has to get a little tougher. That was the one theme that Penny Hardaway really has stressed to his team, and you know how you can always tell when he stresses that to his team because the smarter players, they always regurgitate exactly what the coach said, and that is exactly what Alex Lomax said. We got to get tougher, and you can't give up all the offensive rebounds, and that's another thing. They don't score well, but they are a very good rebounding team, and when you offensive rebound, you give yourself a chance.
Boy, UAB has kept it narrow. They average 62 a game. They allow 61.
Yeah, I'll tend to forecast that Memphis gets in the 70s in this game. They averaged 86 coming into the matchup the other night with Bradley, and they only scored 71 points, and it took free throws at the end to get that.
3 college basketball top 25 games tonight. A Big Ten game, Iowa and Michigan.
I saw that.
And 2 ACC games, Duke's at Virginia Tech and Pitt at Louisville.
Where's the Iowa-Michigan game?
In Ann Arbor.
Okay, they'll win that game. They had that great start, and then there was a bit of a comeuppance against Louisville.
It was, but it's early for conference play, but I like it. I wish more would.
I don't like it that they played the first week. That's what the ACC did because they were
for the network.
It was. They were unveiling the ACC network, and they want to make a big splash. I don't think the coaches like that either.
Well, I just thought about the trivia question for the Tigers and Cincinnati opening with UCLA. There's a Memphis UCLA basketball history,
Is that right?
Yeah, and football.
Well,
recent history in football.
Yeah, no question. That was a split when the and you know what? When Memphis went to
it was a big
the Rose Bowl
game
in Pasadena, that was a big time statement. That
sure
was honestly, if I'm thinking back on this,
that's the one.
That was the
Flag
first
went in the
time
ground that night.
Even though Memphis lost that game, you felt like, you know what? We got a football team here. This is a program now. We're getting there. That was the first time,
That was
even with
big.
the defeat, you kind of felt that way. We got to take the break. We're back in just a minute with our final hour of the week on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
When you're diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, a million questions flood your mind.
How can this be happening?
Am I going to be able to work?
What's a subtype? What do I do now?
We know.
We went through it too. But once you start to understand your options,
You can partner with your doctor
and find ways to face MBC on your own terms. Visit findyourmbcvoice.com and learn how to speak up and have a more informed conversation with your doctor.
Some questions have answers.
Visit findyourmbcvoice.com to find some of yours.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. And we give you this magic music, which will inspire the perfect hire to begin clog dancing. Okay, there's no magic music, but skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Post your next job at Indeed.com/hire and try skills tests for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system tuned up? Did you know your heating system can lose up to 5% efficiency every year it skips a tune-up? Why compromise your family's comfort? Good news, it's heating system tune-up time at Conway Services. Schedule your heating system tune-up today for just $57. Not only will you save big, but we'll also include a Google Home Mini absolutely free while supplies last. That's right, get Conway Services 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $57 and get a Google Home Mini absolutely free. The experts at Conway Services will make sure your heating system is ready for those cold winter nights, all for only $57, and we'll include a Google Home Mini absolutely free. Why trust your comfort to anyone else? Stay warm and stay connected. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We talk NBA next with Andy Schiffman. I'm glad Andy gets to talk to Dave Woloshin for the first time since Friday, November 1st, when I was in Montgomery, and Dave has been around the world in that time. We talk NBA with Andy next. This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales. At DeSoto Auto Sales, all the cars are test-driven, all checked out from head to toe, bumper to bumper, and unlimited inventory. Down on Goodman Road, 5704 Goodman Road at DeSoto Auto Sales. Check out the referrals at DeSoto Auto Sales, and they promised you this. They know we're living in a world today that time matters, and they want it to be very simple for you, and they want you to have the ultimate car experience. Walk in within 45 minutes. You test drive your car, you get credit approved, you finish the paperwork, and you're out of there at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, laid-back, down-home environment, no high-pressure sales. You'll be treated like family, and you'll have the ultimate car experience on the time factor. Online at DeSotoAutosales.com, 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience on Goodman Road at DeSoto Auto Sales.
Our friend and our agent, Andy Schiffman from Chicago, now joins us. And big news in the NBA today, David Fizdale with a 4-18 basketball team fired. Second team he's been fired in without a whole lot of sample size. Andy, is Fizdale really getting much of a chance at the two teams he's been fired from, Memphis and New York?
First off, welcome back, Dave. I've
Thank
missed you.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I'm so sorry I lassoed you into this thing and then abandoned you.
We've enjoyed
That's
it, though,
all right.
Andy. We've had you all to ourselves.
You got to focus on the big football game tomorrow, which I'm sure has everyone in Memphis quite crazy and excited. But
we are.
Look, I think Fizz has been able to coach a lot of talent. I also think in certain situations, the talent is not a cohesive unit. And no matter how talented those individuals are, if you cannot get those talented players all on the same page playing as a team and you lack team chemistry, which the Knicks definitely have this year, you're not going to succeed as a coach. And the more difficult factor in this equation as well is the fact that Fizz is in New York, which is vastly different than the market of Memphis, obviously, and the pressure that the fans and the media put on the Knicks day in and day out to win, that really gives him a shorter leash to work with. So I think he's a phenomenal coach. I think he's a great individual. It's just tough to coach when you have a lot of individual talent that just haven't meshed well together as a team.
And almost had the same kind of makeup here, Andy, and that makes it tough.
Mm-hmm.
Will he get a third shot? If he does, it'll be a while, won't it?
Brett, I don't see him getting a head job this year. I think he'll end up on a staff at some point this year. Maybe in the future he gets another crack at a head job. He's obviously won at Miami and has a lot of success and instrumental in their talent and their winning earlier this in the mid 2000s. I just don't see him getting a head job this year. I hope he does, like I said, because I think he's a great coach. He's a smart coach. He brings a unique background to the game, kind of more of that new school approach. He's great for young players and their development. I think it'll be tough this year to get another head job.
And that Miami shop, that's really Riley and Spoelstra, isn't it?
Sure. Yep. Exactly.
I'm going to take a little different tack with you guys on this. I don't think the guy ever really got a fair break. I don't think he had a lot of great talent. In Memphis, he had a decent team for a minute, and he tried to get them to switch over to what the league is now, what Taylor Jenkins is going to do now, because they busted it up. And he had a disconnect with management, not necessarily the players, but they wouldn't buy into the system that he wanted. So, that went south. And then when he goes to New York, he's 21-83 in the amount of time that he was there. So what is that, 20-something%?
Overall, 202 winning percent at Memphis and New York.
20%, which is about what he was in New York. But in New York, I mean, the best player was Porzingis. He never played for him because he was hurt. And you tell me the talent that he had there. I don't think he ever had talent. I don't think And I must confess, I like him because I like the way he wins a press conference. I really don't know about his X's and O's and how he coaches. I know he was trying to change the culture here and become a more modern space and pace team.
Man can't live off press conference alone.
But he didn't get talent either. It's not like he had a lot of horses to win games.
No, but I look at it too, Dave, like this season. I'm just going to take this season as a snapshot. He had a lot of young talent that really they were not playing together. And look, to his credit, let's say, maybe in his defense, we'll say, that you didn't have really a lot of time to grow talent like R.J. Barrett and these guys that just signed like Julius Randle and our guy Bobby Portis and Taj Gibson. I mean, this is a collection of individual talent that's all playing together for the first time, and they have not been able to grow. And you look at other teams around the league, like a Milwaukee, like a Denver. I mean, these are individuals that have played together and have grown over the last 3 or 4 years. And guess what? You know, when the coach of those teams came in initially, Budenholzer, Malone, I mean, they obviously had success, but they weren't competing for the conference finals every season right off the bat. And these players, they weren't out there winning 50, 60 games right off the bat. It takes, even you saw it in Memphis, it takes continuity and growth, and he never really got to have that opportunity in New York.
Other big story this week was the way the Rockets game ended the other night with Houston. Although there was 7:50 to go, a slam dunk that was not counted, and then they found that it went in. The Rockets are protesting now. They want the game to be replayed from that particular spot on. I don't think that's going to happen. Give me your sense of what the league does here. There is a precedent where they've done this before.
Right, they have done it before. I mean, I don't see them replaying the game, and I hate to say it because the basket should have counted. I think the league is just going to kind of bite their tongue on this one and move forward and realize this was a grave mistake, but I don't think anything will be overturned.
No, and I don't think it should be, Andy. I mean, look, sports is real time, and sometimes human beings mess it up in real times, and I know it's tough for the defeated team. But when we go to bed that night, it's over. We don't wake up and get a mulligan.
Right, exactly. But I mean, if you watch the play and the way the ball went in, it
went through.
Should have counted.
Yeah, basket should have counted. If it goes through the net. And I heard Jalen Rose make an interesting case. He thinks in some arenas the nets are too long.
Well, I know the NBA has a regulation size net, just like they have a regulation size everything on a basketball court. I've never heard of the nets varying in length in NBA arenas. I
have neither. I had no idea.
I wouldn't have thought of it either.
That they were any different from one arena to the next. And you know, we've now, so I've been in the Portland arena, I've been in the Brooklyn arena, I've obviously been in FedEx Forum. I don't think I've seen a different size length net in any of those three arenas.
I've heard in college of a little chicanery with the nets for a little longer ones, for real make it, take it, hurry up teams. You want it to come through a little slower in the longer net. And I've known of some funny business going on there. But the NBA, I would think one size fits all for the nets, don't you?
Exactly, 100%.
All right, Portland today amended Carmelo Anthony's contract, so it is fully guaranteed for the remainder of the year. Boy, I would have kept that carrot out there a little bit longer for him to really
keep him interested.
Yeah, exactly. Keep his heart and soul involved. What do you think of that deal? And do you think there's still life in Carmelo's legs?
Well, I think he's proven that. You know, he got Western Conference Player of the Week very recently. He comes to help a struggling Portland team, and right off the bat, you know, his first 4 or 5 games, he's averaging close to 16, 17 points a game. You know, he's shooting the ball pretty well since he joined, and to his credit, he stayed ready and he stays in shape. And I tell our players all the time that may not have an opportunity to join an NBA roster right at the beginning of the season, especially our veteran guys, just stay ready, because if you're a veteran and you're proven in the NBA, you will likely get a call from a team that is either struggling with injuries, or they have a roster exception to be able to add someone, or they're making a playoff push, and veteran guys like Carmelo will come in extremely valuable. And so I applaud Portland for actually giving him the full guarantee. And look, it's just a minimum contract. It's nothing like a max deal or anything. But it's a credit to Carmelo in the fact that he did come in and did his job. And appreciate the fact that Portland was rewarding that as opposed to waiting a month from now when contracts become fully guaranteed. And I actually, I tend to think it could incentivize him even more, knowing that he's in an organization that really has valued him and not just kind of looking at him on a trial basis and potentially going to cut him before the January 10th full guaranteed date. So I actually am all in favor of it if you have a player like Carmelo that is coming into an organization and helping that organization.
What's your more frantic call from your clients, from your guys? The aging player wanting back in, get me back in, or the G League player thinking, hey, I should be having that. I should be having my shot now.
I'm very grateful to work with the guys I work with in that they're all realistic, and I do think part of that is because we as a staff here and myself spend such a large amount of time educating these players on just the market and what they see, because as well as I do, all these players are on social media and looking at what everyone else has and what they don't. But I do believe if you're communicating constantly and you're educating your players about the reality of the league and different transactions and rosters, they will have a thorough understanding of what reality is. So it's a toss-up because we definitely get those calls, but luckily they're realistic. That's the best way I could describe it.
Portland's making moves. This was the first. They're 4 games under 500. I'm sure there's more to come. Memphis has Andre Iguodala out there.
Mm-hmm.
The best offer I think they've had for Iguodala is a second-round choice and a throw-in of a guy on an expiring contract that has to be somewhat up there because Iguodala's money is, I'm trying to remember if it's, about 8 to 12 million, somewhere in there. I can't remember which. Would Portland be in the market for a guy like that? Could he help them? Because I've heard other people put those two teams together.
No, absolutely. Again, this is a team that has playoffs on the mind, not only playoffs, but they want to go very deep into the playoffs. They want to reach the Western Conference Finals and beyond, and they've been very competitive in the playoffs the last few years in the NBA. And so that's, again, just to my point before, a veteran who has won at the highest level with Golden State like Iguodala has can absolutely step in and help Portland. And that's when, they're a team that relies a lot on veterans, right? Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum in years prior, Enes Kanter, who's actually one of our clients. So they see value in veteran guys because they are trying to win, unlike some of these other teams that are just younger, like a Memphis, where Iguodala doesn't really have much value because you're evaluating these young players that have come through your door and the young draft picks, and your mission and your goal is to grow as an organization and to form an identity like Memphis has. Portland's mission and goal as an organization is to excel in the playoffs and go deep into the playoffs. And so absolutely Iguodala has value there in terms of what Portland may offer. I think Zach and the front office of the Grizzlies will definitely benefit from continuing to wait up until the trade deadline as opposed to just jumping on a trade right now and, just testing the market and seeing what they can get, because at that point in time, you're that much closer to the playoffs. And if a team like Portland is in a better position to compete for the Western Conference Finals or the Finals and really contend for a championship, they're going to be reliant that much more on a guy like Iguodala if they're still, they still have a roster spot and they still have a need for that position.
Yesterday, Andy, I brought it up toward the end of the show, and I don't know that he gets anything. Why not more noise around Nick Nurse, the coach of the defending champion? I think most NBA and even more than casual basketball fans know who he is, but he's sure not taking any big victory lap this year as coach of the world champs.
Correct. Well, I think it's simple. I think people do not realize and pay attention to what the Raptors are doing this year because Kawhi left. And it's all eyes on the Clippers with Kawhi and Paul George, and then load management as it relates to Kawhi and all this buzz about that, everything in L.A. But quietly, you look what the Raptors are doing. They're 15-6. They don't have a household name other than maybe Kyle Lowry and Gasol, who's a bit older. Lowry's been out with an injury a little bit. He's coming back playing at a high level now. Fred VanVleet is a phenomenal player they have at a great value. And then their main piece, unless you're really tuned into the NBA, a lot of avid NBA fans do not know the name Pascal Siakam. And he is
even after the
superstar in this league. But again, he doesn't hold that weight that a name like Kawhi does, or Kevin Durant, or Kyrie Irving. And I say this today, that could change in a couple of years, but I don't think people realize how good Pascal is. And, look, Boston is also first place. Milwaukee in the East, they rattled off 13 straight wins. They're 19-3. So I think a lot of these other teams are kind of taking the spotlight because of the superstars that they have on their teams, like Boston with now Gordon Hayward and Kemba, and Gordon will hopefully be coming back fairly soon. Milwaukee, obviously, with Giannis. So Toronto's just kind of lurking in the shadows, but they're absolutely going to be in contention there at the end of the day in the Eastern Conference.
They are, but just kind of the buzz factor. Budenholzer gets a little more than Nurse. For sure, Brad Stevens gets more than Nick Nurse. And, he's sitting there as the champ.
Yep, Philadelphia is another one. I mean,
these
teams with household names that people will really pay to watch as superstars. And outside of Toronto, I don't really know of any NBA fans that are sitting at home saying, man, I got to watch this Raptors game to go see Siakam and Lowry.
Well, I agree with you that the loss of Kawhi Leonard clearly put a damper on that sort of national interest. But I thought Siakam was the real deal when we saw the playoffs and the finals.
Yep.
And I suspect that he'll keep them in the game there for a while. But the two leaders, the two best records so far, clearly the Lakers. Everybody expected that as long as Anthony Davis was going to be able to play well. And Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. If they were to play tomorrow for the finals, they're both 19-3. Match that up for me. Who's the better team?
I love the Bucks. I love the way they're coached. I love the way they play. And to be honest, Dave, I'm actually a little bit surprised myself at the Lakers' success.
Me too.
I mean, there's no doubting, obviously, the superstar talent that they have in AD and in LeBron. But now you throw DeMarcus Cousins in there. I'm just surprised at the chemistry that they're sustaining. Whether that continues through the rest of the season, we'll see. But look, winning cures everything, right? But I love Milwaukee just because they've been doing it for so long now. And like I mentioned earlier, they're a team that has played well together. Giannis knows how to play with the guys around him. The other guys buy into Coach Budenholzer and their system. And just the way the organization is run from top to bottom. And I don't think you see that in the Lakers. And I think, my own opinion, I think there is a little bit of a lower ceiling for the Lakers than there is for the Bucks because of that. I think from the Bucks, everyone buys in from the 15th guy on the roster all the way up to Giannis. And I look at the Lakers roster more as like AD, LeBron, Kuzma, and then you've got some other peripheral pieces that you might not hear from throughout the season.
I think if we're looking for the big surprise of the year so far, it would have to be Dallas. And this is Luka Doncic.
Sure.
I mean, I thought he'd be really good, but he's doing things that are Hall of Fame-like.
He is unbelievable to watch. We were talking about it 2 weeks ago when I was on the show. I love watching him, and it's pretty remarkable to see him this young doing what he's done in his second year. I mean, elite level, like beyond all-star. The level of the performance level he's been operating at this season, and they are winning. I'm actually going there to see a few of our clients on the Mavericks on Sunday. You'll see Ryan Brokoff, Tim Hardaway Jr. is one of our guys, and Isaiah Roby. So I'm excited to go watch a Mavericks team play at home. I went last year and got to see Luka just hit step back after step back against James Harden, and I think James at that point really didn't know what hit him, didn't know who he was. But they're really, really fun to watch, and they absolutely are the surprise in the Western Conference. And I think people out there now, we're in December, that might think, this is just a trend that's going to fade. They're not going to sustain this after the All-Star break. I absolutely think they will.
You guys may have already talked about this. It's one of my pet peeves, though, is the load management, especially early in the season, and we saw that with the Grizz, and now John Morant is actually hurt. Brandon Clark was doing the same thing. Now he's actually hurt. I don't know if they're going to do this like they did with Jaren Jackson Jr. last year, where the guy had a thigh bruise and didn't play after February. Do you think the league is right? They must be, because this in the middle of the year tournament and reducing games is actually now being talked about. But how much do you think this is hurting the NBA?
I do think it hurts a little bit because, again, season ticket holders, generally speaking, will, at least even for teams, teams like Memphis, a lot of them will pay to come see the opposing team's best players. And, we've all been in the FedEx Forum or years ago in the Pyramid when guys like Allen Iverson comes in, or LeBron and his Cavs days, comes in to play the Grizzlies, and you look around and you see all the Iverson or LeBron jerseys in the stands. They're not wearing Grizzlies jerseys, and same goes for other younger organizations around the league. And so as a fan, you are going to be upset if you're paying $70, $80, $90 for an NBA ticket. You don't even get to see your favorite players play that night, whether it's on the opposing team or your home team. So I do think it's hurting the marketability of superstar players around the league a little bit. But again, what's more important, that business aspect of just what I talked about, or the overall health of these players? Because now you're getting more and more athletic players in the league. And if you're an athletic player, the pounding your body takes playing an 82-game season, plus 5 or 6 preseason games, plus playing in the playoffs, plus if you're a rookie and you played deep into the NCAA tournament in March, and potentially in early April, then you're spending 2-3 months training for the draft, traveling and flying all around the country, working out for teams. Then you go play Summer League. Then you go to your NBA team and you start up with workouts in August and early September, straight into training camp. It absolutely has a negative impact on these players' bodies. And so I think it's just kind of a cost-benefit analysis of what's more important, the longevity of these players' overall career, or the perks of having these superstars play night in and night out for your fans.
Well, if you're asking your fans to spend $200 a ticket, lessen the game so they can play. Otherwise, we're all just going to wait for the playoffs so we can see the best teams play. In my mind,
and I think that's the answer.
Last thing, real quick, who's the best college player you've seen so far?
Whew. Well, the best college player, I would say James Wiseman, because he has played a college game. I love the kid at Georgia, Anthony Edwards.
He's going to be here. We're going to see. Yeah, unfortunately,
yep,
James
Georgia's
won't play
playing
against
Memphis.
him. Yeah,
it's a shame that Wiseman,
right.
I guess, will not be at that one. That would have been a heck of a matchup for Memphis fans. Once in a lifetime to potentially see the top 2 picks. But there's a lot of and I know we'll talk about this as we move closer into the spring and summer next year in 2020, heading into the draft. But I always have my eye on the under the radar guys, because as an agent, I want to spend my time looking at those guys, because I am not going to sit there and put all my eggs in the basket of a number 1, number 2 pick just because of things that go on in the industry that are really not pertinent for this conversation. But I'm always keeping my eyes open for guys that might be flying under the radar that might rise throughout the draft process. And, there's one kid just down the road from Memphis who's at Vanderbilt that I've watched a lot this year that I really like playing for Coach Stackhouse, is Aaron Neesmith. There's a kid at Michigan that's popping up on a lot of teams' radars, Isaiah Livers, who had a really good tournament in the Bahamas. Michigan's done exceptionally well. And it's just fun to watch these guys that really weren't highly ranked at the beginning of the season now kind of make a name for themselves and see their teams succeed, whereas people in September might not have pegged these teams to be tournament teams come February or March.
He is Andy Schiffman. He's our agent in Chicago. Hope everything is going as it has been. Always terrific for you, and I look forward to talking to you next Friday.
Appreciate it, guys. Go Tigers tomorrow.
Yeah, let's hope.
Sure.
Let's hope. Thank you.
Thanks.
Andy Schiffman. He's brought to you in part by Robo Golf Pro Memphis. They're back, and this is the perfect time to go see my friend Robert Jackins at Robo Golf Pro Memphis. Look, if you're looking for the perfect gift certificate for the golf lover in your family, hey, you can talk all you want to about golf balls or some new equipment. How about getting in shape to play? They've got the simulator that's for rent. You can do that as a date. You can do that as a group. They've got winter leagues now, small corporate outings, perfect for a birthday party if the kids are able to play golf. There's holiday parties that are coming up, because it's not just the Robo Golf Pro himself. That's the machine. It's not just the simulator. It's a whole place you can go, bring food in. It's a cool place for a party right there on Macon Road, right near the driving range. This is the place. And if you want lessons, believe me, you want lessons with Robert and with Robo Golf Pro. Sharpen your game, especially during the winter months. You get some swings. You're not going to be bundled up. It's the perfect place. All you've got to do is call Robert, 901-300-2720. 300-2720. This is so cool. You can go in there and play any golf course you want in the simulator, or you can take a lesson, or you can get on the Robo Golf Pro with that lesson and perfect your swing. join a league. There's so many different ways. And great, great Christmas gift certificates. So many ways to enjoy Robo Golf Pro Memphis on Macon in Cordova. We take a break. We'll sharpen our forecasting skills. In just a minute, we've got Friday football forecast. It comes next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Your nationally ranked Memphis Tigers are playing host to Cincinnati in the American Athletic Conference Football Championship game on Saturday at 2:30 p.m. This is the third straight championship game appearance for the Tigers, but this time it's at home. Tickets start at just $20 and are available now at GoTigersGo.com or by calling 901-678-2331. Memphis versus Cincinnati on Saturday, December 7th at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Be there and help the Tigers win the AAC Championship and a trip to the Cotton Bowl.
Stripe up.
And this corner is Bob, the Beast of Bar Graphs, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day. Medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129.
How would you like a chance to win house payments for a year? Go to Sports 56 WHBQ and enter to win in our Home for the Holidays contest. You could win mortgage or rent payments for a full year. That's right. Get your home paid for an entire year. It's free to enter, so go to sports56whbq.com today. Enter now because it ends December 20th. It's the ultimate home court advantage. Home for the Holidays from Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Here once again
are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Wow, this Friday disappearing, Friday before the championship game. We'll be making our forecasts on that game as well in just a couple of minutes. In the meantime, I'll let you know we're almost at 5:30 here on Friday. You know what that means, don't you? You start thinking about, got to stock up. The weekend's just about here. Spirit Shop, that's got to be my stop. So easy. So beautifully located right there at Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar Avenue. That is where you want to go to get any premium spirit you want, whether that's tequila or bourbon or scotch, whatever, or wine or beer or those cocktails in a can now that we talked to that great gentleman, or it can be anything. I mean, they've even got that stuff from Pappy, that guy that had the rimming little salt combination that you can rim a glass with for like a Bloody Mary. Perfect. They got it all. And like I said all the premium. If you're looking for the next up and coming or the bargain, they got it too. They got everything in there. I know it looks small in that little log cabin, but it's huge when you get inside. The space engineering in there is nothing short of genius because there's so much stuff in there. You'll love it. There's as much stuff as there is service. Go talk to Eddie Connor. Go talk to his daughter. They're there to help you out. If you can't find something, they'll find it for you in there. If it's not in there, they'll actually make calls to get it for you. Go test me on this because they do it. They do it all the time. That's the Spirit Shop, 4848 Poplar Avenue. Load up for the weekend right there at the Spirit Shop.
Time for the Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. For real estate, commercial, ag, hunting, and recreational, contact them at fnbt.com or 901-498-5763.
Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, they've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Nick Sutton, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis, 901-498-5763 or fnbtmemphis.com. That's fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I've had an account and been a friend my entire life.
Dave and Drew both with the win last night. Drew, for the year, you were talking before the show today about how far you're back. You entered into the week only 2 back on total picks. You're 69 and 76 for the year entering the week. You got your win last night, so 70. Dave 71 and 74. He got his win last night.
So that's 72.
And I got a loss, so I'm 70 and 76. So we're tied going into this weekend.
How did that happen? When did I get good at this?
Last week.
All I know is there is such a parallel here to what occurred.
11 and 5 last week.
Just a couple of months ago in golf. Way behind, made the move. Here we are again.
Slow and steady. Tonight, Pac-12 game in Santa Clara, home of the 49ers, home of Super Bowl 50 between the Panthers and the Broncos, Peyton Manning's last game. Tonight, Utah, 6.5-point favorite over Oregon. And a lot of people think if Utah wins, they will be in the college football playoff ahead of Oklahoma. Oregon can play spoiler and go to the Rose Bowl. That's a pretty good place for Oregon to be in, and it's going to be sloppy tonight. Utah, 6.5. Dave, first pick.
I like Utah big in this game. I like the fact that it's sloppy. I think they play great defense. And that kind of weather and that kind of field only helps defensive teams. That 6.5 is easy. They're gonna wallop Oregon.
Easy, Drew.
Copy and paste exactly what Dave said. I got Utah. I think they win by 10+.
We've got a difference. No group lock. Give me Oregon. I think Oregon wins straight up with the better quarterback, but those sloppy conditions scare me a little bit. First game tomorrow that we're picking is 11 o'clock, bright and early, Big 12 championship game, a rematch from just a few weeks ago when Baylor blew the 28-3 lead at home in Waco to Oklahoma. Oklahoma, 8.5-point favorite tomorrow. Dave, your pick, OU minus 8.5 or Baylor plus the points.
I'm going to take the points. I think Oklahoma will probably eke this thing out. I wouldn't be surprised if Baylor won the game. It was 3 points the last time. I think Baylor's going to hang in there. 8.5 is too much. I'll take the Bears.
I'm going to lay the points. I think Oklahoma wallops them. If they couldn't get them at home in Waco with a 28-3 lead, how are they with just this short amount of time to get ready for it? But they could with the rematch in that game, just like here in Memphis, but not within a week. Drew?
8.5 is just way too much. I think OU pulls it out, but they're going to pull it out by about 3 or 4. Give me Baylor plus the 8.5.
So both of y'all with Baylor, both of y'all with Utah. I'm out there all by myself.
You're either catching us or say goodbye.
Or pull further away. The big one, 2:30 tomorrow at Liberty Bowl Stadium, American Athletic Conference Championship game. They played just a week ago. Tigers won by 10 a week ago. The line now down to 9.5. Memphis minus 9.5. It had been 10 most of the week. But
I've seen it at 8.
Half point now. Cincinnati with the change at quarterback from last week. I smell group lock here. Dave, your pick first.
I think Cincinnati is going to change quarterbacks. I think they're going to go with Ritter. I think Memphis will do a good job of keeping him bottled up. He's not as good a thrower as the other guy. The other guy might come back in. I think Memphis is ready. I think they're the better team. I think they have the team speed. I think they know now what they've got to do. I think they get past them by more than 9.5. I'm taking Memphis and giving away the points.
Harder sport to beat somebody that you just beat recently, football or basketball? Because we saw MUS lose twice, and that wasn't back-to-back weeks.
Are they even teams? Even teams.
They're both
I think
champions.
it's really hard. Yeah, well, of their divisions.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's hard. I think Memphis wins big. Memphis big over Cincinnati tomorrow, so 2 out of 3 so far.
Well, you're talking to the fan over there. I know he's going lock.
And so the Tigers minus 9.5. We both take Memphis. And Drew, your pick?
Oh, I'm taking the Tigers. I think this game is going to be what we thought it would have been last week. Last week was too close for my comfort. I think Tigers win by 16 plus.
SEC championship
So there
game.
is a group lock there.
Group lock right there. SEC championship game. These teams just haven't played much anywhere over their long histories, both founding members of the SEC. I think this would just be the 31st or 32nd matchup ever between these two. LSU 7.5-point favorite. They're in the playoff even if they lose, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. I think they are.
Even if they lost, Burrow has that game we talked about earlier. They get pounded. They get beat. They're not going to, but if they get beat 45-10, are they still in?
If Utah beats Oregon 45-10, maybe that is a problem.
LSU minus 7.5. You take who, Dave?
I am taking what's the old axiom? The old axiom is defense wins you championships. Georgia's got a lot more to play for than LSU. I know LSU wants to win the game. Don't get me wrong.
You're not going straight up, are you?
But I think Georgia has a lot more to play for because they get into the playoff if they're in, and LSU probably will. I like their defense. I don't think LSU has seen a defense as good as Georgia's. Give me the points. I wouldn't be shocked if Georgia wins straight up.
That's exactly me. I'm not calling the upset, but I like the points. Georgia plus the 7.5. It will be mostly a dome of dogs. They'll have most of the crowd there. Right. If they pull the upset and the right upsets happen over the course of the weekend, they could vault to the 1 seed and they get to pick where they start. That would be at the Peach Bowl.
Right.
What an advantage.
Wow.
It could all turn out perfect for Georgia. I don't think they pull the straight-up upset. I just like the points. Drew?
I'm with y'all. I'm with both of y'all. Another group lock. Give me Georgia. LSU still pulls it out, but not by 8.
Boy, are we discounting LSU? We may pay for this on Monday with the LSU fans at the text line. College football lock. Dave, you first.
I like Boise. I'll give away the 14.5 to Hawaii. I think Boise's playing, hoping that Cincinnati can beat Memphis in a really close, squeaky game, and they kill Hawaii. And the committee says, "Well, they're going to pass them both. They get it."
Drew,
I think this one's probably the easiest game of the weekend. I'm taking App State minus 6.5 over Lou Lafayette because you got to remember App State things kind of go their way. They win big. Maybe Cincinnati barely beats Memphis. Boise loses. They're still technically in there for the Cotton Bowl, so they've still got something to play for. Give me App State minus 6.5.
And, boy, if they could have back some of that game against Georgia Southern, they would be undefeated. Mine is tomorrow. Usually the MAC game is played on Thursday night or even Friday night. It's tomorrow. I'm going to take Jim McElwain, lay the 7.5 over Miami of Ohio, and Central Michigan Chippewas win 38-17. I'm going to start with the college football shock. I'm going against you, Dave. And I'm going to take the 14.5 and take the Rainbows over Boise. They don't win, but they get under the 14.5. They only lose 45-35. Drew?
I'm going to go to the CUSA Conference Championship game. Give me Bill Clark and the UAB Blazer. It always does. Over FAU and Lane Kiffin, the about to be announced new head coach at Ole Miss.
So he starts 0-1 at Ole Miss in your books tomorrow, huh?
Yes.
So UAB plus what?
Plus 8.5.
Plus 8.5.
Bingo, bingo, bingo. Great minds think alike, Drew.
You going there?
Oh, Lane Kiffin's already in Oxford. He's not even thinking about this game. And there's Bill Clark. There's UAB.
Bill
and they're
Clark.
getting 8.5 points. Getting 8.5 points. Where was Lane Kiffin today? In Memphis.
I don't think that's
Memphis. Where was Bill Clark? At practice.
I don't think. Lane
Give
Kiffin
me
was in
UAB.
All right, so y'all have UAB, both of y'all, for your college football shock. Again, I have Hawaii. To the NFL, y'all got a win last night. First game on Sunday, Baltimore minus the 6.5 at Buffalo. The Ravens are rolling. Drew, do I need to even waste the ink?
No, you don't. Be more all day.
You got it. Dave?
I said it yesterday. I love Buffalo in this game.
I do
I'm
too.
getting 6.5 points. They're at Buffalo. Buffalo is, they were the first ones to say New England wasn't so good. They almost beat New
Sure
England
did.
there, and they're going to beat Baltimore tomorrow or Sunday in Buffalo.
I'm with you. Buffalo straight up. So both Dave and I going against you, Drew. Saints minus 2.5. We talked about it with Mike Detillier. I'll go first. I'm going to lay the points. Take the Saints minus the 2.5 at the Dome over the Niners. Dave?
Well, Jimmy G's my guy, right? You know that San Francisco's been my team. How good, except for the Bears.
I feel the big setup
Except for
here.
the Bears. So I'm trying to do a Coach Corso here. I'm going New Orleans, man. It's the Dome. It's Drew. As good as San Francisco is, the Saints are better.
Drew?
I'm going NOLA as well, group lock, and I'm a little upset both of you are going against my team. How dare you?
Sorry, not personal. No.
It
never
feels
is.
personal.
It's not.
Dave
I
takes
promise.
it personal when we talk about his Bears. Why can't I take it
He's
personal?
the one that threw him overboard.
I got
We
news
did.
for
That's
you.
true. I never threw my own team over.
Texter had it right earlier, so Dave back to being a Bear fan.
If you take it personally, tough.
You like to get over it.
Tough.
Next game, our Titans, right? Tennessee Titans minus 2.5
Correct.
against the Raiders. That was opening day at Liberty Bowl Stadium in 1997.
It was.
For the Tennessee Oilers against the Oakland Raiders. I'm going to take the Titans and lay the 2.5. Drew?
I'm taking the Titans. They've been playing phenomenally the last 4 or 5 weeks. I think they keep it rolling.
Tannehill's been good, hasn't he?
He has. And Oakland has been exposed. Carr is not playing very well. Poor John Gruden. No, I'm Titans all the way. Another group lock.
Another group lock. Our group lock record is 11-12 going into this weekend. 11-12.
I think we're going to be a lot better after this.
So it hadn't been that locky, but it's been real groupy. All right, New England minus 3.5 against Kansas City. Kansas City should have defeated them last year in the AFC Championship game. They didn't. Patriots went on and won another Super Bowl. Kansas City gets them this weekend. Give me the Chiefs plus 3.5. Dave?
I'll give you those 3.5. I'm going the other way. This is in New England. It's cold, and New England's due. They're going to win this game.
Boy, the national overreaction. If New England loses this one, it's going to be really
It'll be
over.
Tom Brady needs to hang it up right now.
It will be. Drew?
Yeah, I'm going with New England minus the 3.5. I think this is the week where Tom Brady shows that he still is Tom Brady.
All right, NFL locks. Dave, you first.
I will give away 12.5 at home. Minnesota over the Detroit Lions. They're hapless. I think they're ready to throw it in. It's 12.5. It's a big number, but Minnesota's playing for their lives now.
Minnesota's been good to you, too, this year. You've picked them a bunch, either lock or shock, and they've been good to you. Drew?
I'm going to take Seattle minus 1.5 at over the Rams. I think that one's in L.A. Russell Westbrook and that Seattle offense has just been phenomenal. They definitely win by more than 1.5.
I'd line all week. It had all of our attention. We were all asking about it earlier, and we went with the 1.5 from the goal sheet last night when we do the spreads. My lock is Cleveland minus 7.5 over Cincy, so I'm going against Bruce Marshall, and he's been hot all year on the NFL. My shock, give me the Rams plus the 1.5.
Me too. I like the Rams.
Dave, plus
they should have been the underdog in this
Okay,
game.
if I wasn't going to take the Ravens thing personal, now I'm definitely taking this one personal.
Drew, don't
just
ever
attacking
take it
me.
personal. It's just picks. Come on, you know better than that. You're shocked.
I'm going to go with the return of Eli Manning getting 9.5 points in Philadelphia on Monday Night Football. I don't know if the Giants win, but Philly doesn't look good. Nobody in that NFC East apparently wants to win a game. So give me the Giants at least to cover.
But if the Eagles win that game, they're tied with the Cowboys. They got everything
They got
to
a lot to
for.
play for. And can you imagine how that crowd will be on Eli probably for the last time in his career?
I don't think Eli got any faster in the last 6 weeks, do you?
I don't think he got any faster either, and the offensive line didn't get any better either. This has been our Friday football forecast brought to you by First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, for real estate, commercial, ag, hunting, and recreational. Contact them at fnbt.com or call them at 901-498-5763.
We take a break. When we come back, we've got some loose ends to wrap up and crunch time. This is the Friday edition of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
When you're in need of quality jeans, shirts, and boots, think Frontier Western Store in Olive Branch. Frontier has thousands of square feet of merchandising at everyday low prices. Tons of jeans by Carhartt, Wrangler, and Ariat. Whether you're after classic denim jeans, dungarees, or work pants, you'll find them among Frontier's amazing selection of stylish modern fits. Flame-retardant jeans and shirts now available as well. Colder weather is on the way, and Frontier is prepared with overalls, coats, and fleece jackets. Women's Sherpa jackets by Simply Southern starting just $29.99. Don't forget the boots. Frontier boasts dozens and dozens of styles of boots, work, dress, or play. Come try on the latest boot trends as well as proven classics, Ariat, Durango, Dan Post, and many, many more. You are guaranteed to find your next favorite pair at Frontier. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, or shop online 24/7 at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Penny Hardaway. There's a comfort in being home, and to me, comfort food and family makes Memphis the place to be, along with having the best basketball fans in America. I like pulling into Corky's and getting one of their family party packs. How can you go wrong with pork, beans, slaw, sauce, and buns for only $5.99 a person? It is so easy. I can call ahead, order online, or just pop in. Tailgating can't get any easier. Tell them Penny sent you.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
It Chapter 2, Pennywise is back. Tune in to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3, for a chance to win It Chapter 2. The Losers Club reunites after 3 decades to face their deepest fears again in It Chapter 2 and destroy Pennywise once and for all. It Chapter 2. Win the digital movie now with Johnny Radio on Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1 FM.
Is your company going through a merger or downsizing and you feel your job is in jeopardy? Don't delay. Call ProResume, the #1 source for professional resumes in the Mid-South. Go to ProResume.biz or call 685-1950, the fastest way to a new job.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. I was just watching a couple of excerpts from the Luke Fickell and Mike Norvell press conferences for this championship game, and it is a weird place to be. You know, it's only happened now the 4th time in history where you've seen a regular season finale and a championship game with the same 2 teams back to back. And now we know. Twice there was a split, and one time there was a sweep, so maybe the odds are there will be a sweep again. Let's hope that that is the case. I do think Memphis showed it was the better team last week. I know Cincinnati, as Dan Horde said the other day, they're going to make the case that their starting quarterback wasn't there, and that makes a big difference.
Fair.
And so we'll see.
But we'll see.
I think they're going to have to stop Memphis, and I think Memphis didn't play their best game last week offensively. I think they will this week.
May I go Tiger Woods? I think Memphis played the B game last week.
You think they got their A game ready? Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, I think Luke Fickell's a great coach, and he's on the defensive side. So it's truly a chess game between 2 masters. But Mike said something to me that was interesting. I never mentioned it yesterday. But Mike said he spent on last Saturday about 6 hours watching film. And there was something he thought he was missing. He couldn't figure out some variable that was going to make a big difference. And he said at the end of that session, he found that variable. I believe him. When he tells me, and I've said this to you before, when he tells me, I see this in the film, that we can do this, 85% of the time, I see it happen. And he tells me he's got a variable. I believe in the guy.
Not running reverse on the kickoff, are you?
I don't.
No, I'm joking.
I don't know, and if I did, I couldn't tell you.
No.
It's time for Crunch Time.
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. It's crunch time. In your life, have you seen anything like that?
Golly, I don't remember that one.
Take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
In the crunch time, that's the frustrating part.
Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
Has it always been this way?
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
He throw those ears forward. He was in stroke mode.
This is stupid.
It's obviously crunch time.
Boop, boop, boop. That's what you're getting.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Dave learned today that I like the coaching carousel a lot better pre-social media. Way too many sources, way too many I've heard, way too much Woodward and potential Bernsteins out there wanting to be in on that, and that's just from the blue check mark Twitterati.
But you do like this report that it looks like Kiffin will be your coach.
Very exciting.
And you know what? Even before the internet, there were people chasing airplane tail tags, ID numbers to see where they were going. So this has been going on for a long, long time. You know what I learned a little earlier today? The Memphis Marathon will have 26,000 runners. They will be from all 50 states, and they will be from 12 different countries around the world. It is truly a worldwide, global marathon. And I've also learned that over the years of this marathon, it has raised over $30 million for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. What a blessing.
It is. I could have done without today. Jason Garrett's performance last night, and wasn't fired today, and I don't think he'll be fired before the end of the year. Jerry Jones has only fired a coach in season one time, and that was to hire Jason Garrett when he fired Wade Phillips. Is that right?
Yes.
But he won't be back next year, and the Cowboys are really bad. And I think just in the network of the NFL, he'll get another job. Who's knocking their door down to hire Jason Garrett?
I don't know. I don't think I would knock my door down, but I
if you
think
one of
you're
these open
belittling,
college jobs,
you're
would you hire
belittling
him?
my Bears. Maybe the Bears have just started to come on and were that good
No,
against
I'm
the
belittling
Cowboys.
Mitch Mitchell. His best night of his life.
That's Mr. Trubisky.
No, seriously.
you.
All these college jobs, you think anybody would jump out there and want to hire a Jason Garrett on the free agent market?
No, I don't think there's really any pro coach. If I were an AD or college president, and I may be wrong, I have to really think about this, but I don't think I would, because for the most part,
You wouldn't be jumping at Sean McVay? Young guy, or Kyle Shanahan?
I might. Those two young guys.
Young.
But here's my point. They don't recruit.
That's it.
And if you don't
They're built
recruit, what good are you?
Yeah.
You've got to be able to recruit. Here's the story I could have done without, and this is a weird story. Army really screwed up over the last few years. They have used a motto that is God forgives, brothers don't. GFBD, and it's on a black flag with a skull and crossbones. Okay?
Is this Army football or the Army?
No, this is Army football at West Point. They would use that flag when they took the field, and they would chant that GFBD thing, okay? Well, they found out that the origins come from a motorcycle gang and an Aryan white supremacist brotherhood sect. So they've immediately taken out anything that has that GBFD, have taken off the flags, and they basically, the guy that came up with it a few years ago said, I had no idea. And now they're using it as a teaching moment that you really got to research and be careful what you do. But they were basically coming out with this thing that's it's about an Aryan white supremacist group.
I'm going to watch all this football starting last night through Monday Night Football. I think it's 5 great days of football. It continues tonight with the Pac-12 championship game in Santa Clara between Oregon and Utah. Tomorrow in Memphis at the Liberty Bowl. Can't wait. LSU and Georgia in Atlanta. Baylor, OU, Part 2. I'm going to keep an eye on Tigers basketball and college basketball this weekend. Back to the LSU-Georgia game. Just the 32nd time those two have played. 30 times for OU Baylor. Just 3 wins for Baylor all time against OU. Big Ten game, though, they've played forever. 84th meeting between Wisconsin and Ohio State. And Sunday afternoon, great slate of NFL games. And the Tigers in Cincinnati, they're meeting 2 times in 8 days. Well documented.
I will obviously be there, intimately watching that game and conveying it to everybody I can that's willing to listen. I'm looking forward to the Pac-12 championship tonight. I think it'll be an interesting game. And also, I am looking forward to 2 or 3 because there's great NFL games on Sunday, even though my Bears are not a part of it. This final portion of the show brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. That is in Olive Branch and Genesis of Olive Branch. And I got myself a Genesis car. It's the finest luxury car that is on the planet. Now, I just jokingly texted the GM. I think it's the greatest car in automotive history. It's the smoothest ride in automotive history. You'll love it. That is for sure. All you got to do is get on Lamar into Mississippi, turn left at the very first exit, Craft Road. Take a look at all of the Genesis cars. They've got more and more. I love that G90. And no, it's just like the Hyundai. Every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. We got to thank everybody who was a part of this show today, and we had a bunch, starting with Bruce Marshall, Mike Detillier, John David Bedour, Glenn Rogers, his farewell, Andy Schiffman. It was a blast. We'll do it again on Monday. Hopefully, we'll be talking about the Cotton Bowl. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells. Funny thing about the holidays is, nothing flies by faster.
Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one-horse open sleigh.
Well, actually, the Lexus December to Remember sales event also goes by fast. That's because for a very limited time, you'll find some of our best offers on our most popular models. But don't wait. Offers end January 2nd. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Lexus of Memphis.
Bria's Fashion Boutique is the worst. First, they asked me if I needed help finding anything. Just because I'm gorgeous doesn't mean I need help.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then they tell me they're having a sale. Oh, so you're assuming I'm poor. Cool.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Also, they tried to give me the friends and family discount. I'm not your friend, so...
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
How would you like a chance to win house payments for a year? Go to Sports 56 WHBQ and enter to win in our Home for the Holidays contest. You could win mortgage or rent payments for a full year. That's right. Get your home paid for an entire year. It's free to enter, so go to sports56whbq.com today. Enter now because it ends December 20th. It's the ultimate home court advantage. Home for the Holidays from Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1. It Chapter 2, Pennywise is back. Tune in to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3, for a chance to win It Chapter 2. The Losers Club reunites after 3 decades to face their deepest fears again in It Chapter 2 and destroy Pennywise once and for all.